end of time.
O'clock.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Yes, it's Thursday instead of Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of y'all saw, I posted all over social media what was going on, but like, our internet went out Tuesday morning at about 8 o'clock, between 8 and 8:30 in the morning, and did not come back on until about 9:30 or 10 last night. So it was out for about 48 hours, give or take. This has happened before, and it's not, because I know CB was saying it's like, who's your internet provider? It's actually, we know what the problem is. It's not the internet provider.
It's all the construction.
What happens is the cables for the internet are still underground. And there's all this construction going on. People are laying new fiber. They were putting in new traffic lights, all this other kind of shit. And evidently, the construction companies and the contractors do not give a fuck to check. They just dig wherever. Yeah. And then if something cuts, they're like, oh, well, and then they just pay the fine.
Yeah, you just pay a fine.
So every now and then, they'll cut through some internet lines or phone lines or something like that, and everybody in the neighborhood will be out for like 2 days, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, what, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of remote workers in
and
there.
Freaking out about it, and they're just kind of like, the construction company doesn't care, so we fine them, and they just keep it, okay, we'll just pay the fine, cost of doing business type of shit.
Yeah. Florida's population went up by millions over the past couple of years, and the area that we're in is like expanding rapidly with like high income housing developments, and fucking McMansions are being built everywhere. And because of that, what used to be a country road now has to be expanded to a fucking 4-lane road, and they got to put fucking signal lights, turn signals and shit.
Yeah, they just put a traffic light up by the Dollar General, which is good because I hated that turn, honestly.
Traffic is heavy here now. It's just, 10 years from now, this will be not downtown, but it'll be suburban. Pretty much.
But because of that, they just keep digging in the ground and slicing through shit, and then it takes them like 2 days to patch it all up.
The contractors are heavily funded. They're state funded. They give a shit. They're under orders. Put those lights down. Devil may care. Fuck it. If you tear shit up, we'll just pay the fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, they don't care. Which is not great because, like I said, then I get, if I don't have the internet, I can't do my job because I work remotely.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was kind of able to cobble together. I use my phone as a mobile hotspot, but it's like really slow.
Yeah.
And like a lot of sites I need to use like wouldn't load, and I had to go. So it was like a huge pain in the ass, and I was like super stressed out.
Once it's all built, it'll
Yeah.
The HOA was considering going to Starlink.
Yeah.
Because that's satellite, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, shipping in the ground is just so fucking 20th century. I mean, come on now.
That's all going to go away.
We don't need shit in the fucking ground anymore.
Yeah.
Where some idiot can, like, dig it up, which keeps happening. So
it's
now
expensive.
Because remember it happened, last time, it was probably like a few months back. And luckily it happened over the weekend, so I don't think it fucked up the show. It might have fucked up the Friday night show, I can't remember. But I remember it was out all weekend long.
Only problem with Starlink is that if a fucking satellite falls down, it'll be a long time before they put another one up there.
Yeah, but I mean, how likely is that? Like,
I heard they do fail.
Well, yeah, everything does, but I'm just saying that it's probably a lot less likely to just break or fall out of the sky than some idiot like going through the fucking cable with a shovel or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which seems to happen with some frequency around here. Because this is not the first time this has happened. It just happened a couple months ago. And we were also out for 48 hours. But that happened over the weekend. So it wasn't quite as bad because, I didn't get backed up on work or anything like that. And we didn't have a show. So it wasn't as stressful. But this week it happened on my 2 busiest work days. So, I was kind of jumping out my own ass. And I was wigging the fuck out. Because I was just getting more and more behind. Because everything was so fucking slow. But yeah, so we're back on now. Hopefully for the whole show.
Yeah,
Because Tom's sitting there saying last night, he's like, why don't you just blow the show off and we'll do
it next week.
We'll do it next week. And I was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
It's like,
so-
I did so much fucking research for this shit.
I was like, well, you could just use that next week. But, we'll see. So if you guys wanted a show, you're lucky you got Jenny on your side. She's going to give you a show. I would have blown it off till next week. Because tomorrow we got to do a show anyway.
Yeah,
Or we could blow tomorrow off.
Well, we're going to do the show tomorrow night. We're going to do, it's kind of a shorter one because we're going to
go out,
Abyss tomorrow, like, after. So
Yeah.
the show will probably only be, like, like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something. But, not like the 5-hour marathons that we sometimes do if we don't have to go anyplace. But, yeah, we do have to go to, we don't have to, but, we're going to Abyss tomorrow night after the Sidetrack show. So we can't get too drunk or anything like that either.
Evidently, YouTube is like deleting millions of channels too, and it's just the AI. But I don't think we have the kind of channel that they're deleting. They seem to be deleting things that have to do with like cybersecurity for some reason.
I wouldn't
Saw
know.
a thing about it the other day. Anybody talking about computers too much and cybersecurity, the algorithms vanished those channels, and some of them have been around for a decade. No explanation.
Yeah, CB said, I can't stay in the chat. Me and the girlfriend are going for all night at the bar. Okay, well, that's, you can watch it later, at least. That's the nice thing about it. Zach says, I'm sick and it's cold out. How's y'all's day? Well, it's not cold out, that's for sure. It was kind of pleasant today, but not cold. He said, I'm out because we still have regular power lines above ground, and when it gets to be in the teens temperature-wise, or there's ice, well, you can imagine. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you live in, like, a really cold climate, your shit's going out all the time, so I'm just belly aching about it. And they're just like, yeah, come move to fucking Minnesota or some shit. See how that goes every fucking winter. But, I'm just saying. It's just kind of a pain in the ass that this kind of happens with frequency. So yeah. The show we're doing tonight, I have been wanting to do a show about this motherfucker, and I know I say this a lot, but I've been wanting to do a show about this motherfucker a long time, and I'd put it in the poll a couple times, and it never won. And finally it won this week. By a tiny, tiny margin, but it still won. Like, I can't remember what the other one. There were two that were almost like neck and neck. But this guy, holy fucking shit. I kind of knew some of the details about it. He's not a serial killer because, as far as they know, he only killed one person. But the shit that he did was, like, so horrible. And then the aftermath of it was so bizarre that, like, I think it's why people are still talking about him now. Now, he's dead now. He died pretty recently. He was in his 70s. But, yeah, this motherfucker is just... What a fucking weirdo, man. I mean, seriously. I don't know what this is.
He's a cannibal.
Yeah.
Japanese dude ate a Dutch girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dutch, right?
Yeah, she was Dutch.
And he ate her in France.
Yeah.
So...
It's an international crime.
It's international, yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why, like, some of the shit happened after. I mean, I'm sure most of y'all know, because the crime happened back in 1981. But, he really didn't get punished for it because of various legal loopholes having to do with international law and stuff. And, it's just kind of a messed up story all around. You know what I mean? Just very messed up. And, the weird thing about him is that I'm not saying that, because you can see their interviews with him all over the place, all over YouTube.
He didn't get punished for it.
No.
Okay.
And not only that, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay.
And like, he didn't. I don't know if I'd say that he didn't think what he did was wrong. I think he was aware that it was wrong, but it's almost like he thought it wasn't really that big of a deal. Like, that was the impression that I got. Yeah. I don't know. It's just really, really strange. It's just, this is a very, very fucking bizarre-ass case.
He had her dehumanized.
Yeah, I guess. Like, Tom Baker said the Stranglers made a song about this man. Yeah, they did, and the Rolling Stones also had a song called Too Much Blood, which came out in 1983, I think. And they mentioned him, not by name, but they had enough details in there that you knew who they were talking about. So yeah, there was that. But yeah, this guy, his story inspired a lot of stuff. I think there was like a documentary that came out. I think it came out in 2017 that was called Cannibal, that was about him. And, you know, he was in a lot of stuff too. But yeah, like a lot of songs and stuff have been inspired by him as well. just because he was like pretty globally famous at like in the 90s, in kind of a really fucked up kind of way, which, like I said, we'll get into. I don't think this would have happened this way nowadays, but it was just all the cultural kind of things aligned, I suppose, like back when this occurred. So yeah, Tequila says it would be great to hear y'all do an episode on the pizza bomber. Was that the guy that that was taking the pizza out there and he had a bomb around his neck and then his head blew up and stuff? I think we did do a show about him, didn't we? We either did a show about him or we did a review of the documentary, like the Netflix docuseries about that case.
I think so.
But I'd have to go back and look because it was a while back. But yeah, so we either did a show about it or we talked about the documentary. One of those two things. So might have to go back and like look for that. So yeah. You want to just like get into that? You have anything else? Any other kind of housekeeping you need to attend to? Anything else you needed to talk about or anything like that? You didn't want to mention your motorcycle or anything? Nope. Okay.
Working on it.
You're working on it.
Yeah, I got a fucking very important module finished. The fucking swing arm and the fucking wheel, axle and brake and the whole fucking rear swing arm is now, and wheel assembly is in the frame. And I got everything ready. I'm going to swap out that front end. It's an RD 400. That's what it is. It's gonna be cool. Jen got me a tank and tail, handmade, aluminum.
Early Christmas present.
Yeah, she got me handmade from India, because in India they still have this motorcycle. But here it's only a 70s motorcycle, but in India they still run it. Well, some of the guys make them into race bikes, and they have a replica TZ 750 tank and race tails like something out of the 1970s. It's gonna look like. It's gonna be pretty neat.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of work on it last.
Yeah, it's in the other room. I built them in the house.
A couple days, yeah.
I build motorcycles in the house.
The non-messy shit. And then
Not messy shit. I'll build an engine in the bathroom too.
Yeah. I've done that. It's air conditioned in here.
Yeah, air conditioned. Yeah, I just don't want to do my wiring and shit. I like to do it inside the air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, the parts are all clean, but I'll paint in here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
brush and fucking sand, polish.
Just put stuff down.
Yeah.
Put some plastic over some shit.
Yep.
Like that chick did, putting the plastic over the Elvis poster.
Yeah.
In fucking Hollywood Chainsaw.
Unbeknownst to a lot of people, a lot of dudes have built motorcycles in apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody knew. And they just rolled out, put it in the elevator and take it down.
Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. Take it in there piece by piece and assemble it, work on it.
That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
You just kind of think. It's my apartment is actually a portal to a motorcycle dimension.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle portal.
And I just pull them out whenever I want one.
Yep.
That's how that works. But yeah. So you did kind of want to talk about your motorcycle. I thought you probably did. All right, so let's talk about this. And I'm sure like Tom will probably have a lot to say about this guy, because this guy is kind of like the poster child for inadequacy manifesting as fucked upness. You know what I mean? Because he had some issues. And they weren't his fault, like, being born the way he was born. But it really kind of fucked him up, like, in later life. Interestingly, about Issei Sagawa, which is his name, was that, we talk about a lot of murderers and serial killers and shit like that, and a lot of them tend to, not always, but a lot of them tend to come from kind of fucked up home lives. You know what I mean? Not that excuses or anything like that, but a lot of their home lives are abusive or neglectful or some kind of weird shit going on or something like that. This guy, not really the case. Like, actually, his family, I don't know what was going on in the family as far as, like, emotionally or psychologically or anything. It seemed pretty normal, and actually they were quite wealthy. I would say very wealthy. And, very well connected, very prominent, very cultured. And he and his brothers seem to have been, quite well loved and well taken care of and everything like that. So there really didn't seem to be any... To be honest, I think a lot of his predilections were possibly partially genetic, because in the documentary Cannibal, they interviewed his brother, and his brother admitted that he had the same urges, but as far as anyone knew, had never acted on them.
Yeah.
So I think that was the first anybody really heard about it. Because I guess he'd been keeping it under wraps for his whole life or whatever. So it's like, so it's possible that this, because Issei's ideas did seem to like manifest at a very early age, at least according to him. Because believe me, if you want to know anything about this dude's crimes, like in minuscule detail, or how he felt about it and stuff like that, knock yourself out, because the dude has interviews, he's written books about it. It's like just the whole thing. So anything you could possibly want to know about his mental state or about what he did to this poor girl, it's all out there. Also, the pictures of her are out there. Please don't search for those. Somebody, back when the crime occurred, like someone on the inside, like leaked the photos or sold them to like a magazine, and they have since kind of gone everywhere. And I think they were even in a book about him, and it's pretty fucked up.
What are the pictures of?
Of her, afterward.
Just bones and stuff?
No, I mean, he didn't eat all of her.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
All right.
But it's just kind of like, I've seen some of the more not gross photos, but there's pretty gross ones out there, so I've heard. You know what I mean? I've seen some kind of gross ones, but not super gross.
Who developed them?
Well, they were police photos.
Oh, okay.
But somebody leaked them. Somebody stole them.
Okay.
And, like, sold them to a magazine or something, like, to make some cash, you know?
Right.
And then they leaked everywhere else after they were published in the magazine. Like, everybody was like, "Ooh, look at that fucked up shit." You know what I mean? I'm gonna pass that on, you know, as people do.
There's lots of that out there.
I know. It's like, I get it. Look, I can't really criticize anybody for being in a true crime, because I'll watch that shit all day long. And people are interested in it. I'm not gonna...
Been around since the 90s.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, so, I don't know. I'm not really sure, like, how I feel about... Because this case, which we'll get into in the end, kind of... There's a lot of shit in here about, like, how much should he be allowed to talk about what he did and, like, profit from what he did. Because he did afterward. You can't really do that anymore. But in the 90s, I guess, and particularly, like, in Japan, where it happened, the crime didn't happen there, but he was there. They were kind of more forgiving of this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's the right word.
No, it's probably,
but
probably just holes in the law. They couldn't get him.
Well, no, not so much that. I meant that, like, afterward, like, the fascination with him.
Yeah.
And people, like, really wanting to, like, almost seeing him as, like, a folk hero, kind of, in a weird sort of way. Because there was kind of a big thing in Japanese culture at that time where it was just kind of like, you know, that everybody wanted to, like, this taboo kind of entertainment. So everyone thought he was fascinating. And so he was, like, asked to be on talk shows and just kind of fucked up shit. And sadly, like, the victim, whose name was Renée Hartevelt, she kind of got lost in the shuffle. And honestly, I cannot imagine what it would be like to have your daughter or, you know, your friend or whatever, like, murdered and eaten. And then the dude that did it, like, not only doesn't go to jail, but then, like, profits off it. And he's, like, on TV, like, talking about it and shit like that. Can you fucking imagine?
Well, it must have been jurisdictional and all kinds of weird stuff where he made it back to the Japan and maybe, and we'll find out. But he must have done it in somebody's jurisdiction and there wasn't extradition laws.
It's not so much that. It's, like, it's really complicated, and I'll try to, like... I'm not sure I have an entire...
It's going to be French law under French jurisdiction, and
but...
They got fucked up shit.
No, it wasn't so much... It wasn't really actually so much their fault. It was just kind of... I don't know. It was just kind of all these weird loopholes that happen, which we'll get into. I'm not sure I entirely understand with... And I think some of the laws have been changed since then, like, partially because of this case. But yeah, so it's kind of fucked up. So yeah, so this guy... Issei Sagawa was born in 1946. Like I said, he came from a very, very prominent, very wealthy family. Like, his dad was like the president of some, or like the CEO of some big, like, water corporation, like purification arts. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was this massive, massive company. And his mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she was, you know, very educated, very cultured. And like I said, she was very interested in her boys, because he had a brother, and was focused on their education, everything like that. They even had like their grandfather was like the editor of this big, famous, like well-known like newspaper like in Japan. The reason he's called the Kobe Cannibal, by the way, is because that's where he's from, like from Kobe, because Tom was like what I said before.
Yeah, he told a story.
He was just
tell
like,
a story how dumb I am.
I didn't say that. He said I thought that was kind of steak. I'm like, well, that's where the beef comes from. That's why it's called Kobe beef.
That's not what I said.
Because it's
I thought that shit was a steakhouse.
Yeah, I mean it is.
We do have Kobe beef.
It is. It is a steakhouse.
I thought Kobe was a steakhouse. I didn't know that there was a.
It is technically.
Yeah, then that's where Kobe beef.
But that's why it's called that, because it's a place in Japan. That's where that specific type of beef comes from.
Yeah,
like it's supposed to be super good and everything.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Japanese beef. Okay. I wouldn't go to Japan for beef, actually.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
With my experience, you go to Argentina or Brazil for beef. Better than American beef. Fucking awesome shit. Good cows.
Good cows.
Oh yeah, they're gonna start importing fucking Argentine beef. It's great off the pampas. Yeah, churrascaria is all fucking Brazilian and Argentine beef.
Yeah, you can get that around here. Somewhere.
Really good.
Yeah, so like I said, so he came from very, like, really literally like born with a silver spoon in his mouth. However, he was actually born quite prematurely, so much so that they thought that he wasn't going to make it. I've heard from various sources that it might have been partially because, like, his mom, I think when she was pregnant with him, like, she fell down some stairs or something, and, she almost miscarried, but he did end up being born, but like I said, they didn't think he was going to make it because he was so small. I think that his dad said that he fit in the palm of his hand, like, when he was born. That's how little he was. Now, because he was so small when he was born, obviously he had, like, all kind of health problems. One of the main things was enteritis, which is like an intestinal infection, and he was actually treated for that, and it did, he did go away. It did improve, but because of all these early health problems, he really didn't grow or develop in the way that you should if you're like have a healthy birth. You know what I mean? So, actually, as an adult, he was only about 4'9", and was actually quite frail, like as far as that goes. Because, like I said, it wasn't his fault really. It's just he was born that way, and he.
So he's 4'9".
Yeah, he's 4'9", and he had like problems with his immune system and stuff like that. Like I said, very common in babies that are born that early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he was kind of in and out of the hospital a lot when he was younger. Now, this, obviously, like I said, not his fault, but we've talked about it with some other serial killers and stuff like that, like, inadequacy issues are usually, like, a big factor in some of these dudes, like, pathology, and I think that was for sure the case here, because the dude was, probably understandably, really just thought of himself as small and weak and ugly, and he got bullied a lot. So unlike a lot of other kind of serial killer type dudes that have these kind of issues, he didn't really lash out. He didn't go outward. He kind of went more inward, like into a fantasy life. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how he dealt with it, I suppose.
So now, funny how it's not so much the problem that the dude has, it's his inability to cope with the problem.
It's the reaction to
that
the
he
problem.
has.
Yeah.
Because fucking, we know little people, the fucking professional little people that work in fucking, like Disney and Universal Studios and shit. You talk about egos. No, they got huge egos. And they're the center of the fucking party. They show up to the club and all the fucking girls dancing with them and shit. Being short isn't a problem. You can turn that into a flex.
Yeah, I mean,
you can turn that into a flex, and they do it. They do it. Yeah, especially if they're good looking.
I mean, this guy, he didn't really. He always thought of himself as ugly, which some of the pictures of him, he looks a little weird because his hair is kind of fucked up or whatever. But I think that he didn't look like Quasimodo or nothing like that. He just looked pretty regular.
Yeah.
as far as the face and shit goes. Like, he probably, if he hadn't been so weird about it, he might have done okay. Like, but like you said, it's not so much what you're born with. And, you know, he's only 4'9". You can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
You can't fix it. So it's just kind of like, you just gotta
use
deal
that.
with it. And honestly, it's better to just like try to use it to your advantage, rather than just kind of like crying about it.
Yeah, you play the card.
Because you can't fix it, like I said.
You play the cards you were dealt.
Yeah, some things you can fix, but that you can't. You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't his fault. His mom fell downstairs. It wasn't her fault either. Probably it was an accident. And you know that he had all these health problems. He couldn't do anything about it. He was a fucking baby. You know. So what are you gonna do? So yeah. So his whole entire life, he just thought of himself as weak and inadequate. He was actually quite intelligent, though. His teachers all thought he was quite gifted, and but he was, you know, obviously very socially awkward. And because of all the other kids making fun of him because he was so small, he kind of retreated into isolation. So he loved to read. He was really into literature. Particularly, he liked a lot of European literature, like as he got a little bit older, especially stuff about the grotesque and stuff like that, like Edgar Allan Poe and all that kind of stuff, which I can't, you know, that's not weird because I like that too, but... You know what I mean? They're gonna make that into more than it is because of what he did later. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he was reading Poe. But I was like, yeah, so was I, but I didn't eat anybody. You know what I mean? So yeah, so he kind of like retreated into fantasy, I guess. And I think that so later on, and you know, every time like a serial killer like talks at length about themselves and about how they felt and stuff, you always kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because I think a lot of them have a certain element of like myth making, you know, so I don't know how much of this is true. But he did say that when he was a kid, well, one thing that, a story that comes up a lot, he says that when he and his brother were little, like they had an uncle, I think it was an uncle or something like that would come over. And his uncle would play this game with them where he would pretend to be like an ogre or a giant or something. He's like, I'm going to eat you and put you in a pot or something like that. And they just thought it was so funny. And he would just like chase them and the kids would run away like, oh no, don't eat us or whatever. But he said later that this actually kind of terrified him, but also like excited him at the same time. And he became fascinated with the idea of being eaten. Or eating someone else. So, of course, he loved, like, all the Grimm's fairy tales, like Hansel and Gretel and all that kind of stuff. Anything that had to do with, like, somebody eating another person, like, he was just really fascinated by that, like, from a very young age, according to him. He also said that when he was in first grade, that he was sitting there and he looked at a classmate's leg, like, I guess they were wearing shorts or something, and he said that he saw that thigh and was like... That looks delicious.
Was that a girl or a guy?
I'm not sure. I've heard both.
All right.
Like, some sources say it was a little boy, some said it was a little girl. He seemed way more into women, so I don't really know.
That made me think that he probably would have been sexualizing it. So that's how I would think it was going to be a girl.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I've heard it was a boy, but I've also heard it was a girl. And honestly, most of the stuff he said later was all about women, like wanting to eat women.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was probably a girl, but I don't know. He also said that he started... I was watching the... Bailey Sarian did a really funny episode about this guy. And she was saying that he said in his memoir that the first time he got an erection, he didn't know what was happening. Because I guess he hadn't had any sex education, and I guess he came from a family where they didn't really talk about that. So he didn't know. So I was like, oh, like Carrie, the first time she got her period, and like she didn't know what was going on. Like she thought she was dying or something. Which I guess would be scary if nobody told you what was happening.
Yeah, it was Japan a long time ago, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, this was like in Japan in the 50s.
Yeah, it's weird because no sex education in China, and there was a Chinese case where a married couple couldn't conceive, and they couldn't figure out. They kept checking her and him, and they were like, you should be able to conceive. Turns out he was going anal on her. That's how he
you're
thought
not
you
gonna
made.
get
That's how they
pregnant
thought
that
you
way.
did it.
Not gonna have any butt babies.
There's
so.
no porn. There's no fucking.
That's so sad, though. I mean, it's funny, but it's like sad.
Yeah.
Too.
He thought he had to come in through the back. He said, "No, I go through the front." He's
What
like,
did he think?
"Damn."
What did he think the other
I don't
hole was for?
It goes in one side, comes out the other. I mean, that's all it goes in. You know. I didn't make that shit up. You guys can fucking look at that on fucking AI. And like people in China were like flabbergasted. And they were like, we have to have some kind of sex education.
Yes.
Fucking.
Just.
They have to give up those old
sake.
old school stigma. They stigmatize sex a lot.
Maybe he thought maybe he's one of those people, and that's sadly a lot of dudes, even in the West, like still think today that women pee out of their vaginas.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's a different hole, but
yeah.
But a lot of guys surprisingly do not know that, even in this country.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he thought. Maybe he's like, well, that's where the pee comes out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm going in this hole. Although that's where poop comes out. Which you'd think he would know that because he's got one too.
Just thought that's where baby comes out. They don't have porn there.
They don't, I guess, okay.
They don't have porn there. It's banned. So He can't do it. It says education now, from my understanding, is little kids on their phone fucking with porn. You know,
well, yeah.
grew up knowing.
Like I said, it's...
But even in the 70s, even in the 60s and 70s, I was born in 69. By the time I was like 75 or 76, by the time I was 6 years old, I knew what the hell was going on. And I had already seen porn. You find magazines and shit. I had an idea of what it was.
Yeah, I mean, shit was around.
And when you're a kid, it makes sense. Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, shit was around.
Because I think there's something instinctual about it. It's not shocking or anything. I don't understand why people.
That's what I mean. Pretty much everybody does it.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. People like overly protective of kids and that topic. I grew up. Me and Jenny grew up fucking in the 70s. And we were feral kids. We all were free range feral kids. We knew all about sex by the time we were fucking 7. We knew everything.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because we hear it from all the other friends, and then music lyrics.
I mean, we probably had like misconceptions, like when you're little, but because you don't entirely know. But it's
yeah,
like,
you don't care that much. Either.
But yeah, it's not.
You're not that really inquisitive about it. But no, I was attracted to women since going back as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 5, 6. I was just
looking
at boobs going, God.
That's about the age I was.
Look at her, yeah.
Probably about 6.
Yeah. So sexualizing children. Yeah, I don't sexualize them like what they're talking about. But the thing is, because they come pre-sexualized, I knew everything pretty much. Looking at chicks' bodies and women going, God damn. Looking at my mom's friends going, Jesus Christ. They're in their 20s, you know.
Yeah.
And then, my little babysitters and shit, and all the little teenage girls and shit. But, it's just natural.
Yeah.
I mean, people are born that way, pre-programmed for it.
Like, don't get weird with it, but it's just kind of like, it's
natural.
I think it's better to just have like kind of a healthy discussions about it, because if you don't, you're going to end up with this motherfucker who gets a boner the first time and doesn't know what it is and thinks, well, I guess it's understandable that he would think that because he'd been sick his entire childhood. So he's thinking, oh shit, what's this now? Probably like, what's this new illness?
The funny thing I talk about this cannibalism, because I can remember back when I was like 5, the little girl that lived across the street, her name was Lisa. I thought she was cute as hell. She was the same as my age. And I was attracted to her, but I did kind of remember it being kind of like hunger, like I want to eat her. But not in the way that,
but
not actually, but consume her in some way. Because you didn't really have
a concept
you
of what
sex
like
was.
You felt a particular way, but you didn't.
Her somehow.
You didn't have like a context of it.
Yeah, the context was like you're kind of hungry for her, but you didn't really know what that meant.
So maybe because
it's just that.
I was kind of thinking that too, because
primitive.
When I heard this guy like talking about, seeing his classmate's thigh or whatever and saying, oh, it looks delicious, or I want to eat it, or something like that. I was like, in a little kid, that doesn't seem that weird.
Yeah. Because you only have a couple desires. Eating, maybe going to the bathroom. Might be like a desire, like a gratification. Kind of like getting waste out. You don't really have a sex thing. So it's probably what it is.
Yeah, at that age. So that's how he's interpreting it.
It's like hunger.
But it's just that, obviously, every now and then, like this motherfucker, just going to take it to a ridiculous extreme. But like I said, when I was like, having that thought when you're 6
Yeah.
is probably not that weird. I don't remember thinking anything like that,
I
but
can kind of remember it as maybe like hunger. Being
yeah,
kinda
but
confused.
I get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I get it. But like I said,
Confusing sexual desire with hunger.
it obviously
Yeah.
manifested in horrible ways with this.
But that doesn't mean you go out and kill her and eat her.
Well, yeah,
It was, you're a little kid. You don't take action on anything.
Right, yeah.
And it didn't really. It felt like symbolic or metaphorical, not like an imperative you had to physically do.
right.
You know what I mean? Even at that, because
It was just something you wanted to think about, I guess.
well, you're a little kid.
Yeah.
You're just experiencing sensations. You're not really acting on anything.
Yeah.
But really, I think quickly, within a couple of years, I knew what sex was.
Yeah.
That there was something happening and children were being made. And you're seeing things on TV and romance and shit. Says men and women do stuff, and something happens, and babies come.
And something happens.
Something happens, baby comes.
Blah 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 in the middle.
Yeah. Then maybe a few years
Then
later,
baby pops out.
you might see some fucking porn in magazines and find and go, oh, okay, yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But back in the 70s, the porn wasn't real graphic.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like R-rated. So you're not really quite sure what was happening there either. But you didn't really care, I guess. You didn't think about it. I don't know if you guys can drop in the comment section if you remember what it was like. Some of you guys are our age. Just the misconceptions. But I remember I didn't have misconceptions for very long. By the time I was like 7, I had a good grasp on what was happening.
Yeah. So when he got this first boner and didn't know what it was. Now I've heard a couple different sources of this. Basically the gist of it is that he got the family dog involved in the situation somehow. I don't know if he actually like raped the dog, or I've also heard that he would make the dog like lick his peen. You know?
Yeah.
Like he was doing that. I'm like, leave the dog out of this, man. Come on.
Yeah.
He didn't ask for this, or she. I don't know if the dog was a male or female. But you know what I mean. It seemed like early on he kind of liked being dominant over things smaller than himself, I guess. But the weird thing about it is that when he got older, it almost seemed like there was an inversion of that, because a lot of the women that he was attracted to were a lot bigger than him.
No, he's overcoming it.
Yeah, so he kind of like
Yeah.
So he was kind of into that. And he also seemed to have an idea that, and I guess this is kind of common like in some sort of ancient beliefs and stuff, that it's like by eating a person, you take on their attributes. So he thought that if he ate beautiful women, that he would become beautiful and strong and healthy like they were. I don't know if he genuinely believed that or if he just wanted to believe it.
Maybe wanted to believe it.
You know what I mean? But it was that kind of like magical thinking.
Yeah.
Like he seemed to have that kind of.
It's like like African voodoo, witchcraft.
Yeah, like that. So there was that. Now, so he kind of like starts, like I said, as time goes on, he's a really good student. Particularly Western literature, like I said, he was real into the Marquis de Sade, which should probably shock no one. Like I said, Edgar Allan Poe, all that kind of stuff. He really liked shit about grotesque, taboo subjects. He liked stuff that was kind of like existential despair, that kind of stuff. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I like all that shit too, but it's like, I'm not a cannibal, obviously. So again, he's kind of made fun of for being small and sickly and everything like that. So he kind of retreats more into a fantasy world. He starts drawing women in his journals. Like, I don't know if he like actually would draw them as like a butcher's thing, like, you know what I mean? But like which parts and stuff. So this is kind of shit that he's been thinking about like for a long time. So sorry, some kind of my phone kind of went off. Yeah. The weird thing is that again, he didn't seem to really have any. He wasn't impulsive necessarily. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't take drugs or drink or anything like that. So he didn't seem to have a lot of those kind of behaviors that you do see like sometimes like in younger serial killers. You like fires or anything like that. Or he might have killed some animals, but it seemed like he wasn't. I don't think he got off on torture or the actual killing is that it was like I said, like a means to an end. Like he's like, I just want to eat it. So it's like, so I have to kill it to eat it, which, like I said, we'll get into later on, because that was like actually pretty pronounced. So as he gets older, he starts to develop a pretty, like, almost like a fetishizing of Western women, particularly blonde, blue-eyed Western women. This seems to have started when he saw a movie that had Grace Kelly in it. And to him, she seemed like the most beautiful woman in the world. And he started, like, really fixating on that look. So just, he was really into, like, very tall, healthy looking, blonde, European or Western women. You know what I mean? Because I kind of feel like, and maybe not just him, because I sort of feel like, you know, this is post World War II, you know, and Japan was kind of like rebuilding and things like that. So there might have been kind of a weird sense of like inadequacy. And so you're like, I was like admiring the cultures that, you know, fucked you up kind of thing. It's, I don't know, there might be some kind of that kind of shit going on. And also like exoticizing the other, you know. Yeah, I mean, and you see it the other way around too, because a lot of like, you know, particularly you know, American or British or, you know, Western guys are kind of like fetishize Asian women. So he was kind of doing the opposite. You know what I mean? He was kind of fetishizing big blonde Western women. Like he was real into that.
Yeah, that's just real common. I lived in Korea for a year. And
Yeah.
Guys kind of do that, I think. Especially if they're isolated, they don't see other types of women. You know what I mean? Like they're in a very like a homogeneous society, and the East is real homogeneous. So they can see some movies and they see Western culture, and then you know they enjoy the movie, and they'll have kind of like their idea of the way the West is kind of blown out of proportion, and they see celebrities, and especially back in the olden days when celebrities were good looking and the movie stars were good looking, and they think that all Westerners look like that. You don't realize they're seeing the fucking top 10%. You know?
Yeah, it's like most version of homely motherfuckers.
Yeah.
just
Most
like
people are
everybody,
ugly, doesn't matter
just
what
like
race
everybody
you are.
else on the globe. You're only seeing the best looking one.
Yeah, but it's not just the guys. When I lived in Korea, the Korean girls are the same way towards white guys. They fetishize you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's different though. With men, they're always kind of like into the physical aspects. You know, I've heard Asian guys talk about, you know, way the white women, the ones that they really like are fucking hourglass, tall, big boobs, you know. Because your stereotypical Asian girl doesn't look that way. They're shorter, you know, not as curvy. Although that's kind of changing now. I think maybe the diet has become a lot of fast food, you know, probably changing.
Yeah, they're all getting fat.
Yeah, but with women, and it's been all around the world, women kind of fetishize Western white guys, not so much for the way they look, but fucking the way they act. You know, if you come from a place like the Middle East or India or something, there's a lot of misogyny going on, and they kind of see, they hook up with a white guy, he's a college guy, and they can live a liberated Western lifestyle. You know, they don't have to follow all these rules. Even though they don't really know exactly what that means, because they never lived in the West, they can kind of fantasize about it. You know, they don't realize that with all that damn freedom, there's a whole lot of risk and responsibility too, because there's nobody watching over you.
But there's nothing. Yeah. I mean, nothing comes with all good or all bad.
Nothing's all. Yeah, it's always a mixed bag.
But the thing about that is, like, I understand that a lot more, because if I had grown up, God forbid, like in some country that was like super misogynistic or patriarchal, I would be just gnawing my own leg off to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
When I was in Korea in the 80s, the college level girls that could speak English who weren't working in brothels, which the ones that would be hanging out in cafes during the daytime, they were all interested in guys because they wanted to get the fuck out of there, because what they saw, they were just saying things like Korean guys are too traditional, they're like something out of the 1950s, that they want, a woman has to quit her job and live at home and be, you know, fucking Sally homemaker for the rest. In other words,
and take care of his baby
Korean
ass.
man has main character syndrome. He wants the wife to be a bit part in his movie.
And he wants another mom that's just gonna clean up after him and wipe his butt.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Crap. No thanks.
And then take care of the kids, take care of him, and she doesn't have a career or any fun. She just stay-at-home babysitter, and they didn't want to do that. They still don't want to do that.
Well,
that's why they're not really.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
That's why
either.
Korea's had such a bad reproduction problem right now.
You know what I mean? It's not their fault.
The sexes have diverged a lot.
They're people. They don't want to do that kind of crap.
Yeah, the Korean guy is stuck in his ways. You would call him misogynistic here. But I'm not going to say that that's what it is. What it is that he has traditional expectations. But he's in the modern world. The world's changed. And women have internet.
Yeah.
So it's a different beast.
Well, I mean, the thing about it's easy enough for dudes in those cultures to be traditional because everything, benefited them. They don't want to change.
It was built for them.
Everything was built for them.
Korea.
So of course they don't want things to be different because it's like, well, I was taken care of before. I didn't have to worry about any of this stuff.
Korea and Japan and China are fish tanks built to protect the men. They protect the Japanese man from outsiders. They protect the Korean man from outsiders and give him all he needs, which is booze, a job, money, and women. Anything comes into that mix, it's fucking up his system. Okay.
Yeah, it's
very protective.
I liked
of the
how
men.
this was. They don't really care. Yeah. They don't really care if other humans are exploited along the way, as long as they get theirs.
Korean girls would trip the fuck out of the concept of chivalry, that women and children first. They didn't have that in Korea. If a boat was sinking, all the dudes would jump on the lifeboat first because they're valuable. The women and children, no, fuck them. They're second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Those are the servant class. That's kind of, it's probably not that bad anymore, but
I imagine no.
Yeah, the men come first. Male dominance.
Yeah, there are a lot of cultures like that, actually.
Most of them,
but
most cultures are like that. Look, I know some of these women, they want to fucking get down on religion. I don't like religions either. But the whole women and children first thing was a chivalry thing, which was a product of Christianity. It just was self-sacrifice. The man should sacrifice for his woman and his children. If somebody's got to die, he'll take the blow so they can live, because that's the next generation, and that's where the fertility's coming from. If you look at Christianity, it's a fertility cult. Jesus, the Mother Mary,
not going to disagree.
Dying and rebirth and shit. It's a fertility cult. So there was a warrior masculinity, but it always involved basically self-sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you on that.
Opening the door, throwing your jacket down on the mud so she could walk across it. You're treating, because the church taught Anglo-Saxon and Nordic, Tyke, and Celtic warriors to stop fucking raping women. Look at the goddamn.
Sad that they had to fucking teach him to.
Yeah.
Can you just knock that off, please?
That's what they were doing.
I know.
That's what they were doing.
It's just fucking sad.
Stop raping women, okay? You gotta fucking respect the Virgin Mary. All these fucking dirty ass, slutty fucking peasant chicks and shit. You gotta treat them just as well as you do the Virgin Mary. So they started elevating the women.
I mean, wouldn't it be nice if they actually lived up to those ideals?
I think they did. I think they tried within the framework of that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking, they tried, and they didn't have showers, so that made it even harder. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or indoor toilets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
hard to be intimate when you got dingleberries everywhere and a bunch of fucking hair and shit.
Shit show all around.
Nasty.
I mean, everybody had it, so I guess everyone was
you didn't
just
know any
used
better,
to
you
it.
know. Probably no oral sex, probably. Although the church reported that they found people in the barns fucking going down on one another.
I'm sure they did all that shit.
Yeah.
Because some people still do nasty shit nowadays.
Just hygiene, the hygienic standards weren't as good.
But like I said, everybody was gross.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like everybody's grossness just rubbing together.
People complain now, but you can
guys.
take the poorest person here in the United States, and their living standards are better than a fucking medieval king's.
Well, yeah.
Because the medieval king fucking didn't even have central air. Fucking, they're fucking nasty, bad sanitation, no running water. And that poor person
poop out the window.
And that poor person in that fucking in project house or whatever has a cell phone with on it more knowledge than a medieval king could have ever even imagined.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing
Huge
when you
power.
think about it.
You're right. Yeah. If you would have showed a cell phone to a general of the World War II, another world war would have broke out just over getting that damn cell phone. to figure out that technology, because that would have been better than the atomic bomb.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, they would want that fucking phone.
And now everybody's got one of
Now
them.
everybody's got one in
They just
their
like
pocket.
take it for granted.
They had to drop in atomic bombs to get that fucking. We must get that alien technology. Yeah, that's what would happen.
Alien technology. Would it be funny if cell phones actually were alien technology and we just
They would see it as alien technology. The little screens and color screens, and you could see anything anywhere.
You're like,
all
yeah,
the world's
what's the big
knowledge.
deal?
Be able to see Google Earth and shit. They wouldn't understand that's all satellites. They would just go, "That's alien technology.
Witchcraft.
That's an oracle of all knowledge."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would launch World War III to get that thing.
And if you go back even farther, they'd like burn you at the stake.
Whoever had it would be the winning force.
Yeah.
I know how to run this. You guys have this big army. Let me join it with you. We'll rule the world. That's right. You talk to the box for us. Okay. Ask the box what it could do. You know, and it would have all this knowledge.
It's like, look, I can post a meme.
I can post a meme.
I'm the king of the
You'd
world.
be the only one on the internet.
Yeah, I'm the only one on the internet.
They would
Wow,
just
it's kind of lonely out here.
They would just want that data. Think of what's on that data.
Posted again.
Formulas on how to make jets, rocket propulsion, all kind of fucking all the shit with fucking quantum physics that you could find through there. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
you jump ahead fucking 70 years instantly.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I don't even know how we got to there.
We're talking about sci-fi.
I don't even remember.
We're talking about the difference between East and West and the perception.
Oh, what I was
between
going to
the men
say
and
too is
women.
that another thing that I found kind of interesting in that in a lot of serial killers, I see, and in this guy also, even though he's technically not a serial killer, is that I think a lot of even most normal dudes, are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of see women, or if they're gay, like they see other men, like whoever their, object of sexual desire is, like they kind of see them, like you said, more in a physical way, like pieces, like ooh, like nice ass or nice, like objectifying in a way.
Yeah, I think everybody does it though.
And well, I mean, I don't know.
Women do it, but
I'm a woman, and I don't.
Women kind of do it a different way. They can do it that way. You've seen them do it to me.
I've seen that, but like
Yeah.
I said, I can't speak for other people because I don't feel like that. But it's just kind of like
With the women, it's more status oriented. What he's like, what he has, what he can do for you. What
yeah,
other
it's
people
more
think of him.
it's more holistic.
Yeah. What will other people think if you hooked up with that? It's that kind of stuff.
But what I was getting at was that because of that tendency of which is normal in men to see women, or like I said, whoever the object of their desire is, as kind of in that way, you can see that if you took that to an extreme,
yeah,
then
that's the first thing that came to mind when you told me that.
Yeah, because this guy, like I said, he sees women and he's like attracted to them, but not in a way that it's like, oh, I'd like to go out with her or I'd like to have sex with her. It's like, I want to eat her.
Yeah,
like I want to eat her pieces. Like I want to cut pieces off of her and eat her.
Yeah, because so she's kind of dehumanized. She's now just a symbol.
Yeah.
Of his desires. I sent Jan some pictures of legs, and I said, your legs are starting to go like this because her legs are turning out great. It's called Legs Emporium, which is a whole fucking channel dedicated to women's awesome muscular legs. And that's what we're talking about with men kind of...
Yeah, like I said, and a lot of men are like that. It's
just a feature.
Just a piece.
Because because the topic is just legs.
Yeah.
Not the woman, not her hair, not who she is, or nothing like that. That's not what the discussion is. How good are these legs? And a lot of because people in the fitness world and fucking bodybuilding shit like, well, what is possible with the human leg? What are the extremes? But no, guys just kind of do that. And that's normal though.
Like I said, it's fairly normal. It's every guy I've ever known has kind of thought like that. So
all it is that men and women are ingrained. Not only human men and women, but animal men and women, because there's gender there too, male and female. They're programmed to seek out mates that have good genes, and each animal signals how good their genes are in different ways. Peacocks, how good the guy's showing off how good his genes are by his feathers. Okay, and for some reason the women are responding to that, but he's breeding because of those feathers. So he's a success. Dudes are doing that. It's just, they're selecting mates based upon what they feel are good genes, big boobs, nice ass, legs. But what's promoting is her fertility, her strength and fertility. That's all it is. Her health.
Yeah, this guy.
What he perceives as health.
This guy fetishized that like big time.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it was taken to an extreme where he
Yeah.
actually wanted to eat her, like consume her. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's his fetish. It's a fetish. Anything to
Yeah,
experience
it's a
is fetish.
paraphilia for sure.
Oh yeah, boob fetish. It can get to the giant fucking breast implants.
but taken to an
it's to an extreme. It's she's healthy to an extreme. It's now absurd.
You can see the
but it's
seeds
attractive. You can see the seeds of it, right? Yeah, yeah.
Because most people have that.
They have the seed, right? Yeah.
But this is what happens when it's
we
taken
take
to an extreme.
Yeah, that's why I don't really freak out by all these weird fetishes and.
No, I'm not. It takes a lot to freak me out, honestly.
Yeah, I'm used to them all because we've been go to fetish clubs every now and then. They're kind of linked with the goth clubs, so none of that shit's really serious. But what people are into is just across the fucking board, and I don't really moralize it anymore because I just think it just has to do with instinct and.
Like I said, as long as you're not hurting anybody and everybody's consenting, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Even if I personally am just kind of like, what? Okay.
Yeah. I even think
Knock yourself out.
I even think sexual orientation is a type of fetish. Fucking straight is a fetish. Gay is a fetish. It's just a different way of. This is a different fetish. That's all.
Well, I mean, fetish has a particular.
It has a negative
meaning.
connotation in a way.
Well, no, I don't think it doesn't have as much of a negative connotation as it used to. But it does have like a particular definition. A fetish is usually something that it's like this is something that's like outside the normal quote unquote realms that you need to kind of get off.
But the thing is, though, is that when you start investigating what the norms are,
that's what I mean. That's where the gray area comes in because what's normal?
There's no,
you know. I don't really think there's any such thing.
Because if you start looking at what the norms are, then that shit is like fucking so fucking vanilla.
It is really funny because sometimes
you get bored with that quick.
Sometimes I'll watch or I'll see like a snippet from like a talk show or something like that, like from the 90s, and it's usually from like the 80s or 90s, and like they'll have some guest on that is dressed a particular way or has a particular fetish or something, and it's like they're on there talking about it, and everybody in the audience is just like, like just shocked, completely scandal, and it's like nothing. It's like just kind of, and you're just like, what? Like people talk about that like like nowadays that wouldn't even like raise any eyebrows,
right?
So it's just like funny to me to like see how fucking pearl clutching everybody got about it. You know what I mean?
That's why I think everything is a fetish, because I don't really think anything is normal or everything is normal. The norm, as the Overton window expands, and the more you get an accurate view of what everybody is doing, you realize that fucking pretty much everything's normal. It's not normal when you start killing people. That's not normal.
Well, obviously.
Okay.
Like
it's
I
not
said,
normal when you're forcing people to do things they don't want to do.
That's what I mean. As long as everyone
normal.
is an adult and they're consenting, they have consented to do this thing, then knock yourself out. Do whatever you want. Like I said, if I don't, I'm probably not into it, but it's just
one of the most normal things in the world for humans to do is to fantasize and make up shit. They make up stories. And a lot of these fetishes are more like fantasies that are made up in somebody's head because they're telling themselves a story or a narrative that they get off on.
Yeah.
It's not reality.
And the thing about it is that, and I was kind of thinking about this when I was reading about this dude, is that I don't know how common it is to fantasize about eating another person. I know it's not that uncommon because I know that there's kind of, fetish groups along those lines. But 99.999% of those people never do it. It's just a fantasy. They write erotica about it. They do erotic art about it. Like, they like to think about it, but they would never do it in real life. You know what I mean?
Something primitive and primordial.
Yeah, so I get
very
where
immature. It's like sexual immaturity before sexual awakening. I think that's what it is. I think it goes back to, like I said, when you're a kid, when you're like 4 or 5, and you see a girl and you kind of in a way want to eat her because it's desire, and that you can only decipher it as, I bet she tastes good, you know what I mean? Like, I want to eat her. Well, I don't want to eat her. Yeah, no. I think that's what it is. Because a little kid doesn't know what sex is, so it's misinterpreting sexual desire as some kind of a hunger. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
But they've kind of held on to that infantile kind of a primitive unknowing and then sexualized that. and go, no, I do want to eat her. That's
Yeah.
what I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, this guy probably seems emotionally stunted.
Stunted, yeah. It's like
Sexually stunted.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't remember wanting to eat anybody when I was a kid, but you know what I mean? It's probably not that uncommon. And like I said, it's still a fetish nowadays. Most people would never do it in real life. It's just something they kind of like to fantasize about. So it's not that strange from that perspective. But obviously going ahead with it is a completely different issue.
See, the thing is, I didn't want to eat her. I felt desire for her, which I misinterpreted as hunger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a hunger, a desire for her. That is it. You know, what is it that I want from her? Because I didn't know what sex was. I was like 5.
American Military says, "Oh God, I just saw the photos of this dude's victim. I told you not to look for those."
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe
what's it look like?
Maybe you weren't here when I said that.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as the Armin Maives tape.
I didn't see
I've seen clips of it. It's like I'm not gonna sit through the whole thing.
Was he?
I have a strong stomach, and I watch it.
Did he eat her raw?
Some of her he ate raw, and some of her he cooked. I'll get into it.
Yeah.
He ended up eating about 20 pounds of her, I believe, and then the rest of it
Over what period of time? That's a lot.
Couple
of
of days.
Yeah, that's a lot of meat.
It was a couple of days.
Did he keep her refrigerated?
I don't think so. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. So this guy, he goes to, starting from 1968 to 1972. He goes to university in Tokyo, and I believe he was pursuing a degree in English literature. Now, during the time that he was there, he decided he was going to try... It seems that one of the things that he always said was that he knew at some point he was going to act on these desires because they were very pervasive. So he had a lot of aborted attempts, and I'm sure all of these women are probably like, "Phew, I don't know how many women out there know they fucking dodged a bullet with this fucking dude." But seriously, he apparently, right around the time he was in college, and this is still in Japan, he kind of lured this other student to a park, and he had a knife, and I'm not sure what he was planning on doing at first, if he was going to kill her, if he was going to try to cut a piece off or something like that. But I guess when he sort of approached or tried to pull something, she screamed and he ran away. Now, I think at this point, he was sent to therapy, and a psychiatrist did diagnose borderline personality and did recognize that he had a cannibal complex because he didn't seem to be shy about saying it. Because like I said, weirdly, I don't think he thought it was that strange. And I think that, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect, later on in one of his interviews, he said that he found it very odd that other people didn't want to eat people.
Yeah.
So he thought he was...
Don't you see it?
He was the normal one, and, everyone else was a freak, because he's like, well, obviously. It seemed obvious to him, and it seemed weird that it wasn't obvious to other people, I guess. That's kind of... Like I said, that's kind of what I meant when I said that he seemed like... When he talked about it, he knew it was wrong, but it's almost like he didn't think it was that big a deal. Okay, because everybody feels like that, don't they? I'm like, no, just you, bud. You know what I mean? You have fun with that. But the thing about it is that nothing was really done in this situation because, as I said, his family was very wealthy. And probably to his detriment... his rich dad, bailed him out of pretty much everything. I get wanting to, help your kid and everything like that. But I think one of the outcomes of that was that he learned that he could basically do whatever he wanted and there wouldn't be any consequences. Because he just got out of it. His dad would just throw some money at the problem and, oh, okay, fine. And they would just let him go home. You know what I mean? So he knew nothing bad was going to happen. He always had this cushion to fall back on.
I'm looking at the pictures now.
I don't want to.
The plates.
It's fucked up.
And then all the he's got her totally cut him to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told you they're easy to find.
Yeah, they're easy to find.
And in fact, they're so easy to find that you could stumble across them accidentally.
Yeah.
Just like I did.
To me, it's tragic, but it's not disgusting really. to me. You know, I mean, it just looks like.
Like I said, it doesn't bother me that I know that that's sad to say, but I write about true crime all the time. I've seen a lot of fucked up pictures. I don't like seek them out. You know, I'm not gonna look, but if I see one, I'm just kind of like, oh, that's fucked up, and then I just move on. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a little bit jaded, so I'm sad to say.
He's well, he didn't make a total mess out of it. He's just he ate a corpse.
Yeah.
You know.
Tom Baker
she
said...
wasn't alive when that happened.
No, thank God. Tom Baker said, wasn't Armin Meiwes the same? Thought it was normal. Yeah, we did a show about him too. And he had this similar kind of thing where, you know, he was the German guy that actually found a person online, like in the cannibal fetish forums that like was willing to be eaten.
Yeah, that was.
And like that caused like some... They were like, well, the guy consented though.
Yeah.
And he's an adult.
Yeah, you can't under American law. That's still murder. That's it.
So they were still, I mean, here it would still be murder, but you know what I mean.
And it's first degree murder, so you'd get life, or you'd either get life or you'd get the death sentence. You'd probably get life here.
But yeah, it was
they
like,
go, hey, he's willing, so you're gonna get life. I mean, they wanted to give a life sentence to fucking Kevorkian for doing euthanasia.
Yeah. Which I don't agree with that, man.
I don't have any problem with euthanasia as long as you have a terminal illness.
Yeah, if the person has a
terminal depression
and they're just in pain and shit like that.
Thing is,
if it's just depression, it's a slippery slope. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's like if the person is terminally ill, they're in constant pain, they know they're not going to get any better.
Yeah.
They should be able to go out with dignity when they want to go out.
Well, they kind of do that in this state. What they do is they give you what's called a comfort package, which is a whole bunch of fucking morphine.
Yeah.
If you shoot all that at once, they don't care what you do with it. If you shoot all of it at once, it'll kill you.
Yeah, they don't give it to you. They just say, this is here.
This is here. Right, yeah. If you feel uncomfortable, you can take this.
Wink.
If you inject all that, it'll kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, just saying. We're not saying to do that.
Right, yeah.
We're just saying that that's what will happen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're just kind of leaving it in your hands, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't have a problem with that. I don't believe in keeping people alive to like make them suffer.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to suffer anymore, that's up to them. You know, like I said, if they're in a sound mind and everything, I don't have a problem with it. So yeah. Now this story, so he graduated. He got a BA in English literature in 1972, and then a couple years later, and this is actually it's fucked up, but it's also kind of funny. So he decides he's gonna try again. At this point, he's still in Japan, but because like I said, he had a thing for Western women. So he would kind of scope out. I mean, obviously, you know, tourists and stuff, like European tourists and stuff would stand out. So he would kind of follow them around or whatever. So he began to notice this German woman. I don't know if I think she either lived there or, you know, she was staying there she was a student or something like that. And he kind of seen her around and he thought she was beautiful. She was like this big blonde German woman.
Yeah, she's good looking.
And she was real good looking.
Oh, wait, this is not
this is not the same.
Not the same one. I'm talking about Renee. Renee was real good looking.
But yeah, we haven't even got there yet.
Yeah,
we haven't got there yet. Or just don't jump ahead.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah. You said, you know, good looking. Oh yeah.
Well, no, that was his type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he saw her and he started kind of following her around. And he decides that he's going to, you know, this is going to be the time. I'm going to do some shit. So he follows her home. She goes into her apartment. And he waits outside for her to go in and, like, go to bed. Like, he waits a while, like, until all her lights go out. And he waits a little while. Until she's asleep. And then he breaks into her apartment. Or either that or the window was unlocked. I'm not really sure. Like, I think he just came in, like, through an unlocked window or something. And his plan, at least according to him, he did... And this is what was funny to me. He didn't want to kill her. He just wanted to, like, eat a little bit of her.
Yeah, she'd never notice.
Like, she wasn't going to notice. Let me just cut a little bit off your butt. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just
for a little snack.
Little round angle right there. Let me get that piece.
Just let me get that.
Yeah.
Just a little skosh.
This bitch delusional. Yeah.
Like, he thought she wasn't going to notice.
She wouldn't even notice it.
Like, he didn't really think this through.
No, this bitch is delusional.
Honestly.
Yeah.
He didn't bring a weapon. He didn't bring anything. He comes in and she's sleeping. And so he decides... So he's kind of creeping close to her. And I think he was going to try and knock her out first with an umbrella that was in her apartment. Like I said, he didn't bring anything. He hadn't planned it, I guess. He just saw her and was like, tonight's the night. I'm going to do this shit. And so he grabs this umbrella in her apartment and he's going to knock her out with it. Now, keep in mind, he's a 4'9", very frail man.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know how tall this girl was, but she was substantially larger than him.
She probably would have whipped his ass.
And so she wakes up, freaks the fuck out, and she's like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing in my house? And just like, pap! And like just throws him on the ground. As like I said, she was a lot bigger than him.
Yeah.
And so basically, I believe she subdued him. Like the cops came and caught him. Anyway, they arrested him. Now they were gonna charge him with attempted rape because he did not tell them that he came in to eat a piece of her butt.
Yeah.
Like I said,
he
said later that he didn't want to kill her.
Yeah.
He was just going to eat a little bit. Just a little bit. She wouldn't even notice it was gone. Where's my earlobe? She would say in the morning. I don't know. Like, I don't know what he was fucking thinking. I don't know what goes through these dudes' heads, to be honest.
I saw a short of
holy shit.
Some chick that I subscribe to who's an American girl who lives in Tokyo. She works in one of those hostess cafes. And she said that fucking about once a year, a dude will follow her home off the train and try to fucking get into her apartment about once a year in Japan. And they don't really think anything of it. She says,
Christ.
She says the guys aren't threatening. They're little wimpy kind of like.
But still, it's just kind of like. I mean, that happens a lot here too. But it's like a lot of times they have weapons and shit.
Yeah, in Japan they're just so simpy. They're just so simpy and submissive. You know what I mean? Like, I've been dreaming about you.
That if they followed you, you could just punch them in the face and which is probably what I would do.
Yeah, and they're kind of clueless to how scary that would be.
Yeah.
They don't even seem to. They just, I love you. I saw you, and I love you now.
Well, like I said, I kind of feel like maybe, and I think even a lot of dudes in the West, I think they've kind of clued into it now, maybe.
No, dudes in the West are light years ahead.
But they are light years ahead. But like I said, I think a lot of them don't realize how fucking scary it is to be followed home by. It's like, holy shit, this dude's he's a serial killer. I'm going to get murdered. Holy shit. That's the first thing you fucking think. I don't understand. Well, because I think a lot of it comes from dudes that are not serial killers that do that. Yeah. I think they're so up their own ass that they don't realize. They're like, well, I love you. Yeah. So therefore I have a right to do that. They don't really think how they can't put themselves in her shoes.
Yeah, well, based on what she said, the dudes that do that see her on the subway and fall in love with her and follow her home. Yeah. Because they can't resist it. But she says that in every case, it's been a guy who's been older and kind of, like you said, frail.
It's like Birdemic.
And and they're so Japanese that they don't have a concept that that's a threat. Yeah. They don't, because there's a very safe society.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of nice in a way. Like in the United States, like seriously, if I'm by myself anywhere, I'm pumping gas or something, some dude takes 6 steps in my direction,
I'm gonna get shot.
I'm immediately like, who the fuck is this? And I'm calling the cops.
Get the fuck away from me. In Florida, you'll get shot. We got guns, and anybody can carry a gun. If you can legally possess a gun, you can carry it legally.
Even if I'm in a store or something like that, and some dude comes up asking a question, I'm like, no,
you gonna get shot here.
Nope. Yeah. Get the fuck away from me. I'm not playing. So, you know what I mean?
They legalized all that shit. They legalized fucking carry, and the crime rate went down here. Not up. It went down. At least in the areas that matter. In the areas where all the gangs are, they shoot each other up. But that doesn't, nobody cares. They've been doing that since the 80s. It's the drug trade. But in everywhere else, man, fucking everybody's well behaved here because you have to be. Fucking, you could get really hurt in America. You do the wrong thing, you get really hurt.
Although some dumbasses do it anyway.
Yeah. You misbehave in a club, you're going to get fucked up. You grab Jen's ass, I'm going to fuck you up.
I fuck you up.
And she's seen it. I've driven a damn half the fucking nightclub out. Fucking beating up dudes who fucking grabbing asses. This shit fucking... Just dumb.
Just keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Should have learned that in kindergarten.
Yeah. And I'm friends with all the owners of these clubs. Those fucking bouncers are not going to bounce me. They're going to bounce you. Okay? It's gangster privilege. When you know all the club owners, you don't get bounced. They trust you. I can bounce a bitch. I've bounced bitches before. Very rare. It's been years now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Shauna knocking that dude out, too.
Yeah. We have girls. We know girls that knock motherfuckers out.
And she was like, bap,
bap.
They didn't kick her
and then
out.
They fucking then they threw his ass out. Right.
Because everybody knows her.
Yep.
They're like, she wouldn't have done that unless...
Shauna's the Brockton Queen. Her mom's from fucking where? Holland? Her mom's from Holland. No, her mom's from Switzerland. Her dad is from Barbados or some shit.
Yeah.
We've had her on the show before, but years back. She's been on the show.
She's cool as shit.
Yeah, real cool. From Brockton, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a skinhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a Boston skinhead girl. She's close to 50 now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's rad.
And she looks young as shit. You would never know. She's like us. She's an immortal.
Yeah, pretty much. And she goes roller skating every weekend still.
Yeah, in real fantastic shape.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so there's that whole thing. So, like I said, it probably wasn't funny for that girl. Like, it's always horrifying, like, to wake up and see some fucking weird motherfucker in your house. Like, what the fuck is this? But like I said, he was so much smaller than her that she just, like, took him down, you know what I mean? And the cops came. But again, because he didn't say, oh, hey, I wanted to eat her, they tried to charge him with attempted rape, but his dad kind of bailed him out again, like, threw some money at some people, and he did end up, I think, going to therapy after this, but he didn't get charged, so he didn't get, like, a record or anything like that. You know, so he's just kind of going to therapy, and I don't really think it's helping, clearly. So then he goes to another university for another 3 years, and then he gets a master's. I believe this was, like, in Gothic literature. I could be wrong about that, but like I said, I've seen sources say different things. Because, like I said, he was real into that. And the thing about having a wealthy family, which must be nice, is that he could just pursue his interests, and he didn't have to worry about, like, having a job or, like, making a living or anything like that, because his dad just gave him, you know, a monthly stipend, and he just hung around. He just went to classes and read his books and stalked women and didn't have to have a job or anything. He also, during one of his therapy sessions around this time, evidently, confessed that he had, when he was younger, because remember I said about cruelty to animals, and I said, yeah, he had done some of that. He said that he had dissected, like, cats in the neighborhood, which, again, kill it with fire. I don't even, like, if all the people that, like, did bad shit to cats when they were kids, if they were just kind of locked up somewhere, like, thrown in a hole, like, there'd be a lot less fucking serial killers. I'm just saying, before they move on to people. You don't even have to, like, move on to people. If you do shit to cats, I'm done. That's... throw them in a hole. So, yeah. But he said, I think it wasn't because he got off on torturing something littler than himself, which a lot of serial killers have that kind of sadistic... that's why they torture animals, because, like, they like watching something smaller than them, like, suffer. I didn't get that impression from him. He wanted to kill it and dissect it because he wanted to eat it. You know what I mean? He's like, I want to see what its organs taste like, kind of thing. So, the result is the same, but the intention was kind of different. Now, even after he said this stuff, the doctor was just kind of like, well, you're kind of messed up, but you're probably, he called him, like, a treatable outpatient, which, okay. But like I said, probably helped he had a rich daddy. And I don't really know what their family dynamic was like. They were obviously very supportive of both of their sons, but like I said, I think because they had so much money and they could easily shield him from any repercussions from anything that he did, the fact that they did that, it didn't help him, clearly. You know? Yeah, he went to therapy. Yeah, you know, he did get, like, caught for some stuff, but he never really suffered any real consequences. I don't think he learned anything. I'm not saying that he would have learned anything. Maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe he's just beyond hope or beyond redemption. I don't know. But so, I don't know. So it was kind of that kind of situation. Like I said, I don't think it was great that like his dad just kind of threw money at whatever problem came up. So when he's 28 years old in 1977, he wants to go keep pursuing his education in Europe. And he especially wanted to go to Paris. And especially around this time period, I don't know about nowadays. But the Japanese had, well, you know, not all the Japanese, obviously, but there was kind of a general admiration for Paris. It was kind of this big European hub of culture, and there was a great deal of like romanticizing of Paris, and a lot of Japanese tourists wanted to go there, and it was like a huge destination. And especially because he was really into European Gothic literature and like, you know, stuff about taboo and grotesque kind of subjects, and like I said, a lot of French writers like wrote about that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of fueled his desire to actually want to go there and study there. So he actually he moved to Paris, funded by his dad. His dad paid for everything. He didn't have to have a job or nothing.
This guy's well set, man.
That's what I mean. Well, his family was ridiculously wealthy.
I saw him. He's not a bad looking guy.
That's why I said he's all right. He's all right looking.
He's little, but he's in a culture where they're all kind of small, especially from that generation. They're a little bit bigger now. But being into what he's into, fucking shit, he could have been in the early fucking goth scene in Japan, and had he known how to fucking wear the right clothes and fucking play his cards right, he could have been he could have been a success. It's just
that's what's sad about it.
He
was very cultured. He was very educated.
Yeah,
like he was very smart.
Yeah, you just have to play at what he could offer.
Yeah,
you know, and
that's all.
He would have found somebody. Just these motherfuckers, always their reaction to their problems is always fucking an overreaction.
I mean,
they're always overreacting.
Most things can be at least managed, you know?
Yeah. Well, another thing is, you know, if he was all into fucking women and shit like that, he could have done what you call today transmaxing, where he becomes a woman so he could become a lesbian or some weird shit like that too. But I guess he didn't think that.
I mean, I guess maybe if you're not into that, it's just kind of like becomes a performance. And
I've noticed that a lot of smaller guys are doing that though.
But they might be doing it because they think like they don't have any other choice, or
I think what
like
it is,
I don't know. Maybe some of them are into it, but
I think what it is that they're saying, well, I wouldn't make a good man, and I mean, but I'd probably make a good lesbian. So they fucking go through a trans more, and then they hook up with another trans female who's just like them.
Well, like I said, if they want to do that, and if they're into it, then like, yeah, okay.
They call that shit transmaxing.
Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. Well, like I said,
they don't get a biological female. A lot of times they get another trans female.
But the thing about it is that he seemed very straight. He had a type, and so I think it was frustrating for him that the types of women that he wanted generally wouldn't respond to him.
Yeah, well, being a very small guy like that is a huge problem. I mean, women do like taller guys, a guy taller than them. So he has to find a woman shorter than him.
I mean, they're out there. I mean, it's pretty rare though.
But now it's all of a sudden this slim fucking pickings. So you're gonna be some kind of an alternative dude. You're forced into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Statistically speaking. But had he been able to put on a good show, he could have been really fucking punching above his weight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5'6". I put on a great show when I was a teenager, and fucking could date a 6'2" Swedish girl. Back in high school, you know what I mean? Because it was easier because she was so tall, no dudes would date her. They have it harder than short guys.
Yeah, I would argue that really tall women have a harder time than shorter.
Yeah, because the guy, I don't want a woman taller than me. Well, shit, they're all taller than me. Fuck it, I don't give a fuck. She's I feel like a big game hunter.
I'm not taller than you.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. This way, my thinking was at the time I was in high school. You know, that's when I was in Brazil.
I'm actually 3 or 4 inches shorter than you.
Yeah, she's shorter than me. But at the time, I was just like, I ain't gonna be limited by nothing. I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, you had a healthy attitude.
Yeah.
some might call it cockiness or arrogance or something
yeah.
like that, but it's honestly it
No,
comes
I'm fucking
across.
arrogant.
You are. It honestly comes across better. It's probably
I know that
slightly it's better to be that way than to just be like, oh, poor me.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll never find a woman like
No.
like an incel kind of.
Yeah.
situation.
Well, my bravado was always bravado. I could back it up, but it was also an entertainment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking but because Jen seen me back it up, I can fucking back it up. Fucking, I got the military history. I got all the kind of histories that I'm not scared. All right. You do not want to be a wallflower. Fucking Gramthers, he's not here. We went to high school together, and fucking, I was a drama kid. I know putting on a show is fucking paramount. Doesn't matter who you are, because putting on a show is part of your communication skills. And these guys have shitty communication skills.
Yeah.
So they don't have good PR. They can't put on a show. They can't sell what it is that they have to offer. And they don't know how to play that hand that they've been dealt. He was dealt a difficult hand, but that's not.
Yeah.
That's
but
not,
it's not impossible.
That's not impossible. No.
It is harder. He did have a lot of shit harder. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of privileges too. I mean, look at the wealthy family he grew up
Yeah.
in. Like he had all these
was
opportunities that
Yeah.
I didn't have, that a lot of other people didn't
Yeah.
have.
He would have had to.
I didn't get to go study in Paris.
He would have to come up with a very compelling look and a really good pitch. You know what I mean? Fucking and he would have. He had to have. You have to get the skills to kill it in the club scene, and he could have. You become a fucking dancer, an actor, a fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Some kind of an entertainer, and fucking there you go.
He could have made something of himself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Well, I mean, I guess you could argue he sort of did, but he did it in the most horrible way possible.
Look at Prince. Prince was what fucking 4'11", 5'1", maybe some shit like that.
I think he's like my height,
He was a little bitty guy, and
which
fucking
is 5'2".
yeah, and he was dripping with women.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of street
he
cred,
never had any problem.
and everybody liked him. You know, he could have gone something even more down that road. Who knows?
Like I said, it's just kind of like we've talked about this a lot.
Never give up.
Short dudes. Everybody has.
Never give up.
Everybody. Well, I don't know if I want to say everybody.
Yeah.
Most people, 99.99%, unless they're like some fucking serial killer or something, like they have something to offer.
Yeah.
You just have to find out what that is and
work and
figure
develop
out
it.
how to work it.
And you have to develop.
That's all.
You can't stay the same. You got to constantly grow.
Everybody's different. Everyone's not going to like you, but that's the case with everybody. Some people have it a lot easier than others. That's just the way shit
Constant
goes.
growth and development. Try to move ahead. Don't move back. Move ahead. I'm almost 60. I've moved ahead. I got the pictures to prove it. I've changed over the years. There's constant evolution. Like fucking David Bowie. Same thing. Constant evolution forward. That bitch was hot his whole life. Granted, he was fucking good looking and rich as a motherfucker, but he got that way from doing this.
Yeah.
He knew how to play his hand.
He just leaned into the weirdness.
Yeah, and he faked it until he made it, and then he made it and kept making it. Yeah.
That's just what you got to do.
He wasn't famous when he started.
No.
He pretended that he was famous, and then he became famous.
It works for some
Mm-hmm.
people. So, this motherfucker, like I said, because he came from a wealthy family and because he wanted to, he's like, I want to go to Paris and study. And his dad was like, okay, let me write you a fucking check, pretty much. So he got him an apartment there, made all the immigration arrangements, all the travel arrangements, paid all his university fees, and gave him a monthly, money to live on. So he didn't even have to work. Like when he was there, he just was there going to school. And he actually ended up going to the Sorbonne, which is a very, very prestigious university, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. And he actually went there. I believe he was pursuing a PhD. I think it was in German literature. Like I said, I've heard different sources say different stuff, but it was something like that. You know what I mean? I think it was German literature. So yeah. So he gets to Paris in 1977. And this was probably, fun for him, I guess. But probably not great for the world at large because he gets there and he's immediately surrounded by hot European women, which is his thing. And he's just like, oh boy, like a kid in a candy store. He didn't have his family nearby anymore, like putting any checks and balances on him. So there was that. He was doing a degree in the literature that explored all the topics that he was kind of fixated on, like grotesquerie and taboo and stuff. So there was that. And then there was also, he was already pretty introverted and kind of shy and isolated, but that was kind of exacerbated when he moved to France because he didn't speak French very well. He was already, so there was a language barrier there, and he was already really shy. So, obviously that didn't really help matters. And he was coming across as, again, feeling like really inferior because he's a lot smaller than everybody else. Like, here's these big European people, and he's this little bitty Japanese guy. And so he's kind of like his feelings of inferiority are kind of coming to the fore. So it seems like him moving to France sort of like deepened his fantasies, I guess. So he kind of like went more into it. So he starts, he had kind of done a couple of dry runs, I guess. Like when he was in Japan, like breaking into that German girl's apartment and trying to eat part of her without waking her up, which that's still fucking hilarious to me. Like I said, it's not funny, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of darkly funny, I guess. But when he got to France, he was just like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna eat somebody. Like it was like a dream, Like I'm gonna fulfill this dream. So he started like researching like body disposal. He starts like buying stuff. Like he bought a 22 caliber rifle. He bought like, just shit that you would, like knives and shit like that you would do for that kind of stuff. And sort of started like priming himself, I guess, for when he was actually going to do this. And what he first started to do was he would go to pick up sex workers, and he would bring them, he would either kind of just follow them, or he would, hire them, and then he would bring them back to his apartment. And then, like, while their backs were turned, he would, like, point the gun at them. And, like, he was going to shoot them. But then he would always chicken out. Like, so almost like he was, like, rehearsing. But he would always kind of chicken out, like I said. Because what he wanted... Here was the weird thing. He didn't want to kill a woman, but he wanted to eat a woman.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like he realized that, well, to eat her, I'm going to have to kill her because obviously you can't just nibble parts off somebody, you know what I mean? Without them getting upset about it.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that a woman's just going to be like, yeah, sure.
Take a bite.
You know what I mean? Yeah, take that little toe. I don't need that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
take a bite off the bottom of my ass.
I mean, I'm sure it's a big world, and I'm sure you could probably find a girl like that if you looked.
You wouldn't want to read her though if you saw her.
But that's what I mean. It's gonna be a very small dating pool, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I said, there's somebody out there for everybody, but whatever you're into, like obviously your pool is gonna be larger,
smaller.
Yeah. So I have no doubt that you've look if Armin Maives could find a dude that was like, yeah, sure, eat me, like we'll eat my dick together, and then you can cut me up and eat me.
That was some weird shit.
There's people like that out there, and it's probably more common than you think. I don't think it's super common, but I think it's more common than most people think it is. So it's like, so you could probably find a girl to be like, yeah, you could cut parts off of me and eat them. But he didn't seem, and I mean, this is the 70s. They didn't have the internet. Had they had the internet then, probably this whole thing could have been avoided because he probably could have found somebody who would have done this kind of shit. Like, hey, yeah, I'll cut off my finger and you can eat it, or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? But
or he'd have an outlet. He would have had an outlet.
He would have had an outlet,
and he would have been in the vor community, and maybe he wouldn't have
exactly.
He wouldn't have been able. He probably wouldn't have actually felt like he had to do it. He would just sit around talking about it.
Yeah,
and drawing pictures and looking at pictures about it.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, the internet.
A lot of these people, like she said, they have the desire to eat, to do it.
Yeah.
But they don't want to kill anybody though.
No, I mean, as most normal people would not.
I actually saw that shit written by that cop that got, the cannibal cop. He didn't eat anybody, but they were calling him the cannibal cop. And during that case, they posted one of the things that he had fucking posted on the forums, and he was talking about how to like roast some chick. And he said that to put her on a spit, if it goes in through one end, it comes out the mouth. He's like, you may not want to do that because that will kill them.
Obviously.
And then, like, once if you roast them over a certain period of time, you may not want to do that because that'll actually kill them. Which is like a weird thing because they're like,
gee, you think?
Yeah. You wanted to eat them and you wanted to cook them and eat them, but you don't want to kill them. That's some weird shit.
I'm like,
so
bro.
There's like this conflict going on.
So you're going to eat a live chicken. Like, I'm just going to roast this live chicken just a little bit. And then I'm just going to eat it. But I don't want to kill it, though.
No, the Chinese did that, man. Fucking, I saw somebody posted that shit on Instagram. The Chinese are insufferable, man. They have no concept of fucking animal rights. They were taking fucking fish and battering them alive and deep frying them alive just for a second, just to fucking fry the flesh on the outside and make it stiff. And then they present the fish on the dish and give it to the person, and it's still breathing. You know, the fucking gills moving and everything, and they're getting the fucking cooked flesh off of it and eating this fucking fish while it's alive.
See, I don't get the appeal of that.
Well, the Chinese have a thing for how fresh the meat is, and it's so fresh that it's still alive. But it wasn't
That's a little too
It
fresh.
wasn't so deep fried that the internal organs were damaged. So you're just, and that's fucking, that's immoral. That I don't like that.
I mean, I know people say it's just a fish,
animal.
but it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, kill that animal. Do not.
I don't even like when they catch a fish and they put it on the dock and it's like, I'm like, oh my God, please just kill it. It's like, I can't take it.
I have so many disagreements.
They're suffocating.
I have so many disagreements with, say, Islam. But one of the things that Islam forbade was eating an animal while it's alive. I'm like,
you shouldn't really need to have a law against that.
Yeah, I don't know why you need to tell somebody that, but at least that fucking religion said don't eat animals while they're alive.
I think most people would be like, ew, no thanks.
Yeah.
You know?
And they have halal slaughter, which is, painless slaughter.
Yeah, it's a thing. So it's just kind of like I said, I think most people are kind of on the same page.
The Chinese would throw a living dog, a big fucking 70-pound dog, into a fucking wok while it's alive and hold the fucking lid on it because they believe that if the animal suffers, that the meat gets more tender. Just superstition. I saw a video of that shit and I was just like, I lost a lot of respect for the Chinese. I was like, fuck the Chinese. And it's, people say that's racist. I'm saying, okay, whatever. I saw how they handled animals. I'm like, no, I don't like them. Anybody that does that, any society that can do that to animals, I'm just like, no, you have no empathy, no empathy at all. It's like, I think it had to do with the fucking Cultural Revolution where they were fucking doing psychopathic things and fucking the good people they killed off. So now they just have these fucking psychos that are not fucking empathetic that can cook an animal alive. I mean, a big animal, like a dog. I mean, like a fucking collie. Okay, it's a collie. No, get the fuck out of here. No. And I think the younger people there are fucking going like, no, don't do that. Because they have pet dogs.
Well, yeah, that's fucked up.
But the younger people are
anybody
like,
that has had pets will be just like...
Yeah, they are sentient creatures.
Yeah.
They know they exist and they're friendly and they have
Honestly, we treat our cats just like we would treat another human. I don't really understand.
Yeah. Or a child. You treat them like
a child. A child is a human.
Yeah. Yeah, but not an adult. They can't really make decisions for themselves. The cat will do some crazy
I'm not
shit.
gonna let them drive the car or nothing like that. Right. It's just what I mean.
The cats want to go out,
or just be like, "Hey, can I trust you to turn the oven off?" Thanks.
Yeah. Cats want to go out, but we got eagles out there, and fucking eagles grab cat in Florida. Fucking eagles fucking grab kitties. They just do.
Somebody on Nextdoor said that there was a dog running loose that it killed a kitten.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't let your cats out.
Here.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't let the cats go out.
Yeah. I want to take them out for a walk, but I won't be there.
Yeah, I don't like it because they might run off.
Yeah.
But if they had a leash on and you were with them,
they won't run off.
As bad, but
they tend not to run off. I don't know. We got to get back to the show.
Well, yeah, thank you. Gramther says, "Is it okay to put a live lobster in a boiling pot?" Then asking for a friend.
Yeah. A lobster.
Look, I love lobster, but even that is kind of like a little.
No.
Even I'm kind of weirded out by that still.
That's a very primitive creature.
I know, but still, I still feel kind of weird about it.
Yeah, and when they're immersed like that, so rapidly in boiling water, they're killed. I think instantly.
Well, I would.
Now I wouldn't do that to a cat or a dog.
Well, obviously, Jesus
Christ.
Fucking,
or a higher animal.
You couldn't pay me enough to do that.
Right.
I wouldn't even really. I I wouldn't even really like to do it to lobster.
Now,
Like I said, I lobster's delicious. I'm not saying that I love lobster, but I still am really weirded out by.
no, they're killed instantly,
I know,
and they have a very primitive nervous system. So no, they wouldn't even know. What
I'm
was
just really
happening.
conflicted about it.
Things like lobsters and fucking crustaceans and fucking primitive sea creatures. They're more like robots.
Look, man, I can't
Yeah.
even watch
Fish, more like a robot.
I can't even watch like in a horror movie. I can watch all kind of shit in horror movies. You guys know. But if even something fake happens to a cat or a dog, and I know it's not real, I can't watch it. I'm just kind of like, nope. I just skip right over it.
Lobsters and crabs are
Do whatever you want to people. Like I said, I don't care.
Lobsters and crabs are essentially sea roaches. That's all. That's all it is. You know.
I know.
So.
But like I said, I'm even weirded out by. Like I said, cockroaches can get fucked. And you know what I mean?
Saying,
like land cockroaches. But I don't even like. I don't kill spiders. I don't even like to kill like other kind of insects or anything. I know spiders aren't insects. Don't get on me.
No, I'll shoot deer, but I wouldn't. I'll shoot deer because they eat them. But I wouldn't shoot a raccoon, or a big cat because just. I was always asking my dad, "So you don't hunt that?" He goes, "No, no. Why didn't you hunt it?" Because when I was a teenager, it was like, "Yeah, why not?" But now that I kind of understand, I thought they were like fierce animals and evil or something. No, they're just a cat, like a house cat.
They're just doing their. They're just trying to live,
thing,
man. Just
But
like we are. Just like we are.
I'd rather just have a rifle that fucking had a scope on it. That was a picture, a camera, so you could take a picture of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of wussy. But then I think about it, I was like, no,
It's not.
that's right. Because he says they don't taste good. Don't kill anything unless you're going to eat it.
Yeah, because there's no reason.
My dad did not believe in trapping or didn't believe in trapping. He thought that was dishonorable. Says too much stress on the animal.
It is.
And I was like, what's he talking about? Because I didn't see what a trapped animal was like.
Yeah.
And then you weren't hunting for that animal. It just wandered into that trap. So it's unnecessary. A lot of times you just let the thing go.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Because that's not what you were looking for. And then fucking says he didn't believe in trapping, and he didn't believe in fucking any kind of trophy hunting.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. It was just for food.
It's just a waste.
Deer. That's it. He ate deer and caribou and elk.
Like I said, I don't have any problem with hunting for food.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And fishing. And fucking.
Or fishing or anything like that. But like, don't make anything suffer more than it has to. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm not into trapping or just killing stuff because, I want to put the head on my wall and shit like that. I'm like, fuck off with your small dick. That's the only reason you're doing that. So yeah. So I kind of feel like this guy, so Issei, he's wanting to eat a woman, and he has realized, that to eat a woman, you're going to have to kill her. He doesn't like the idea, I feel. Like I said, he's not a torture killer in the sense that he gets off on fear or suffering. Like, I don't get that impression. It's just a means to an end for him. He wants to eat a woman. He wants to consume her. He wants... Like I said, I don't know if he actually believes in his weird magical thinking way that he thinks he's going to, like, absorb her beauty and strength or whatever. But he said that he thought that. So that's what he wants to do. So he realizes, well, I don't like it, but I'm going to have to kill her to eat her. Obviously, you can't eat her while she's still alive. It's just those two things are kind of mutually exclusive. So he kind of starts sort of practicing, like I said. So he brings prostitutes home. He probably has sex with them, I would imagine. But then, like, while their back is turned, like, he'll point the rifle at them. Like, I could do it. Like, I could pull the trigger. But then he never does. Like, he always kind of chickens out. You know what I mean? So he does that for a while. And he says that later. And he keeps, like, the fantasy. He has, like, notebooks and journals and stuff that they found. And he would have kind of, I want to call them, like, recipes in there. Like, how many calories, like, different parts of the human body had. And stuff like that. Like, he was really into the shit, you guys. Like, you don't even understand. And, like, what seasonings would go best with each. He hadn't actually done it at this point, so I think this was all kind of more fantasy. Like, he was just really enjoying thinking about this stuff and, like, writing it down. So, like I said, I'm not shitting on anyone's fetishes or anything. I'm just, holy crap. Like, this is not normal, really. Now... around this time, while he's at the Sorbonne, he meets Renée Hartevelt. And she was another student. She was studying, I don't remember, like, I think she was studying, shit, I don't even remember. I think I have it, like, written down somewhere. But she was 25 years old. She was Dutch. And she was a graduate student. Now, I think she might have been studying French literature, actually. But she was, like, multilingual. I believe that she spoke... Well, obviously she spoke Dutch, because that's where she was from. But she also spoke some French. She spoke fluent German. And I believe she also spoke pretty fluent Japanese also. Hence why she could communicate with him. Now, by all accounts, she was just a delightful human being. She came from a very academically oriented family. She was very sophisticated. She was very educated. She was into a lot of the same shit that Issei Sagawa was into, like a lot of the literature and stuff, which is one of the first things that they bonded over. Like, she was very intellectual. She was just very well-rounded. She had, like, a lot of varying interests, culture, philosophy, literature. And she was, sadly, exactly Issei's physical type. She's actually quite a beautiful woman. She was 5'10", so more than a foot taller than him. She was very physically active. She did judo and other things, so she was in really good shape.
Yeah. And I approved this message. I tested. I saw her. She's gorgeous. She's a good-looking girl.
Yeah, she's a beautiful, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And sadly, she chose to be friends with this dork, and look what fucking happened.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't look threatening, so.
Yeah, and that's probably what... But see, this is why I don't trust anybody. I've seen enough true crime. It doesn't matter how fucking small
true
they
crime,
are.
the husband always kills the
How
wife.
dorky
You don't
they are.
trust me now? Fucking, you think I'm gonna one day kill you?
I don't trust nobody.
Stop that shit, dude. Stop that shit.
No, I'm just saying that it's like... I'm just saying you can't predict. Because I know sometimes, like, women will be like, oh, well, you know, I broke down on the side of the road and the student... And he didn't seem... He seemed nice, and he was like, that doesn't... 9 times out of 10, it's probably fine. But that one time, all it takes is one time. All it takes is one time.
Thing is that one time, had I been there, I might have been, nah, that motherfucker. I got a weird feeling about that guy.
But women get feelings like that, too.
Yeah, probably unjustified, too. They probably get that.
Well, it's better to be unjustified than be dead.
Yeah.
You know? So our sense of danger is probably calibrated higher than yours. But like I said,
you're threatened by more guys than I am. You gotta have.
Well, yeah, but like I said, that's normal because it's just kind of like I have more to lose, and it's better to be like, oh, I was wrong about that guy than be murdered.
Me and Jen, living here in the United States, where foreigners would think it was probably pretty dangerous, we navigate easily without weapons on us. Because we understand where we're going, the timing, where we're going to go, who's going to be there. We know everything. We don't do anything out of the ordinary. There are certain places and certain times where we wouldn't go. We're not going to go to downtown Orlando now on a fucking Saturday. Because all hell is breaking loose. They're shooting each other down there. Every fucking couple months, they're going to shoot somebody.
Most of the time, nothing happens, but it's just kind of like,
every couple months, they're going to shoot
there's
somebody.
nothing down there that we want to do anymore because everything moved elsewhere.
And it's tacky people.
And it's just kind of like, I'm not a big, I don't like to be in crowds.
Yeah.
I don't mind nightclubs if it's people I know and, like, you know, a place I go all the time and it's like shit I like. That's kind of a different situation. But like, if you ask me to go to like some meat market club, fuck no, I'm not doing that.
The danger here is mostly predictable. The shit that you see on TV, this weird shit that happens, the reason why it's on TV is because weird shit that happens. They're not telling you all the fucking shit that was predictable. Dude murders his wife, and then it's pretty unpredictable. You never would have predicted it. We saw one last night like that. If you actually look at the dude, you're like, yeah, that's kind of a fucking janky dude, though. You know what I mean? Fucking.
I think they're all janky.
Yeah. No, not all dudes are janky. What are you talking about?
To a degree.
Yeah, that guy there, man, fucking... He'd rather kill his wife than go through a divorce?
Oh my god, you
what
guys.
What kind of dude is that?
We were watching... I've been getting into...
Yeah.
People Magazine Investigates, like that true crime show. They have them on HBO Max. Because you know how I do. I can't help it. Tom's like, we're going to watch true crime again. I'm like...
Yeah, my dick will go like this.
I'm like, we don't have to.
Yeah. All that shit fucking turns me off.
But if he says...
I like it, but it turns me off.
Oh, well, watch you true crime shit. Well, the first one I watched wasn't that upsetting. I was kind of playing a game on my phone at the same time. But it's just kind of like the second one I kind of got into, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's like the fucking... Well, the woman disappeared.
Yeah. And
I was like, something bad happened to her. Obviously, they wouldn't be making a show about it. And... From the second that the cop said what her ex-boyfriend had said, I was like, that bitch did it. He was involved somehow. But then for a while, they make you kind of think that he wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, I don't buy it. But then they found out that he had been having an affair with this other woman that he'd known for a long time who lived in another state. And it ended up that this motherfucker had gone to the ex-girlfriend's house. They had a baby together. Gone to the ex-girlfriend's house, picked up the baby, put the baby in the car, I think, goes back in the house, beat the woman to death with a baseball bat, blood everywhere, calls his girlfriend, who's in another state. They were in Colorado, and I think she was in Idaho or something. And was like, hey, you have a scene to come clean up. Because I think the ex-girlfriend had come down a couple times to kill the new girlfriend, but hadn't gone through with it. And so, come clean up the scene. She comes and cleans the house up.
Yeah.
He beat her to death with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Tricked her into fucking putting a blindfold on to smell fucking candles.
Oh my God.
That poor
I was
girl.
like, that is fucking cold.
And he hit her and she's like,
and then
stop. She's like,
after
stop.
he did that, he took the baby, went to his mom's house. It was Thanksgiving, and went and had Thanksgiving dinner and acted like everything was fucking normal.
Yeah, and this is an upper middle class white dude. He was an upper middle class white dude. If you were to look at his recipe, you would think that he'd had it made and that there wasn't any problems.
Can't trust nobody. Can't trust nobody.
Yeah, but I'm looking at him and I'm like, yeah, that dude there, man. He was a psycho.
Normies, man.
Yeah, you can tell.
You gotta watch that fucking normies.
Gramps is saying that some places in the South, mollusks and squirrels are primary meat. Look, there's a lot of bullshit about that. My dad fucking Mississippi fucking was one of the fucking greatest hunters of his fucking area. He killed thousands of deer, fucking had his own hunting rights on a certain part of Masonite land. Him and his buddies fucking their primary meat was venison. It was beautiful deer. And they'd go out there and fucking plant fucking ryegrass and make fucking cutouts and fucking shooting houses. They'd grow all kinds of beautiful deer and they'd cull the best ones out. It's kind of like farming, you know what I mean? But it's free range farming. One day I fucking said, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go hunt. And he goes, fucking, deer season ain't open. He goes, I'm gonna hunt varmint. I'm gonna hunt squirrel. And he said, okay. You need to go over, but you got down there, and he gave me instructions on where to go on the patch where the squirrels were. I went down there with a Ramline bolt action 22, stainless steel, that green plastic stock, scope on it. Went down there and shot fucking squirrels all day long. I had them all in my damn belt. Must have had 30 of them, 35 of them. It looked like I was fucking wearing a fur fucking skirt. I came back. And it was like fucking bad hunting. Fucking, you hit them and they fall out of the tree and they're like, no. You had to shoot them 2 or 3 times sometimes with a fucking 22 to kill them because it would just go right through them. They'd fall out of the fucking tree and just fucking jump around on the ground and wounded. I didn't like the hunting at all. Came back with probably 35 of them, cleaned them all up, made a stew out of it, and it barely fed me and my dad. And I says, that wasn't much meat. And he goes, nah. Ain't much meat on a squirrel. You eat a whole bunch of it. He says, that's why I don't do it. It ain't worth it. And I said, I killed 30 of them things for nothing.
They're so cute.
And I said, I killed 30 of them things for not even a decent meal. And he goes, yeah. That's why I don't hunt them. And that was the last time I hunted squirrel. My dad was very wise, but he knew to let me go fucking hunt them
Well, he knew you'd figure it out on your own.
Yeah, you're like, it's not worth killing 30 living little creatures having fun, and you don't really get a decent meal out of it when you can kill one deer and eat on it for fucking a week.
Well, yeah.
You know, and fucking make nice meals.
Gramther says, in Michigan this week, a woman was stabbed to death in the Hiawatha National Forest by her mother and stepfather, who then carved out her unborn baby and threw it in a swamp.
Yeah.
Look, I have a temper. I've been mad at people. I have never been so mad at someone that it would occur to me to do anything like that. I do not understand. I don't understand. I really don't. Like, I see some of these fucking true crime shows, and it's like, especially the ones that are kind of like, you know, husband and wife, or like ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. Like, one of them does something to the other one. And it's just kind of like the one I was watching last night. The thing about it is that the two of them had broken up. Yeah. Like, she was upset about it, apparently, but she wasn't making a big stink about it or nothing. She had the baby. They hadn't even lived together. They hadn't married yet. They were going to, but then, like, it kind of broke up or whatever. They didn't live together. She had her own place. And the fact that he could just go there, pick up the baby like normal, and then just beat her to death with a baseball bat, and then just leave her ass there and call his girlfriend, hey, come clean the scene up, and then just leave and go have fucking Thanksgiving. I can't imagine
ridiculous
that level of like, I was watching, I was like, fuck, man, that is some cold-blooded. I can't imagine.
But Grampers, you take a fucking squirrel and add up the amount of, you can only eat the back legs on it, and those two little back legs add up to basically what a chicken wing is, a meat. So I had to fucking do it myself to realize, like, it ain't worth
that. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it killing these little things. You know what I mean?
Plus,
and you're not getting any fucking food.
I had one as a pet when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean,
fell out of a tree.
Yeah, there's nothing in the upper body. There's nothing along the fucking ribs or the sides. There's no. The broth from the fucking stew tastes good, but it was a waste of effort. It would be, you would only eat that if you were starving. Maybe you'd hunt that.
Yeah, I would excuse it if you were like legit like starving and you were just kind of, that was the only thing, and you just.
But a normal person today, don't even bother. Don't bother with fucking squirrels. There's no meat there.
Well, yeah, I mean that it should be obvious just by looking at them. I mean, they're really small.
Well, when you're a teenager, you know that people hunt squirrel. You've hunted deer. Well, let's go hunt the squirrel. You have to get 100 of them to get a meal, and you killed 100 little things. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like I said, I'd have to be real hungry.
Yeah.
Before I would even
you're like, this is
that.
not very efficient. And then you shot up all those 22 rounds.
Gotta work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, and I shot up all those 22 rounds. I probably could have used the fucking pump air gun.
Wasted all the ammo.
With a pellet rifle.
Wasted all that time.
Yeah, I probably could have done it with a pellet rifle.
See?
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Leave them damn squirrels alone.
Yeah, leave them alone. There's no meat there.
Plus, they're cute.
Even a wild rabbit, there's not much meat. There's much more meat on a chicken.
Also, leave the bunnies alone.
Yeah, there's more meat on a chicken.
I mean, deer are cute, but they do have a lot of meat on them.
Yeah, more than a squirrel. Well, nowhere near what a deer, nowhere near what a cow has. Nowhere near.
Well, yeah.
You know, 1/6 of that.
All right. So where was I?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So I think the issue here, okay, this is not an issue.
Yeah.
Is that by all accounts, Renee was just a lovely, wonderful person. And in a way, I think that kind of bit her in the ass in the end, because she was nice to this dude. Well, I mean, she didn't know. I mean, like I said, he didn't seem like any threat or anything like that. She thought they were just friends, right? One of the main things that her friend said about her later was that she would help anybody that needed help. You know what I mean? Which is a good trait to have. Like I said, sometimes it can bite you in the ass, as in this situation. So she was in college, like I said, studying either French literature or Oriental languages. I'm not sure. Like, I've seen both in sources, so I'm not sure. But she was like studying towards something like that. And she was gonna do like maybe academic research as a career, or international communication, something along those lines. But like I said, she was actually quite brilliant. I said multilingual. very intelligent, and a very well-loved young woman. Now, she met Issei, Issei Sagawa, through their university courses. Obviously, they were in some classes together. And she was aware that he was very socially awkward, obviously, and isolated. Now, he was smitten with her, I think, like right away, because, like I said, she was really his type. Like, she was a big, healthy, tall European woman, very sophisticated, into the same shit he was into. And so he asked her for help with German, because obviously this was a language that she spoke fluently. So he said, I need a German tutor. My dad is very rich and he can pay you for your time. And she kind of felt bad for him, I guess. So she was just kind of like, okay, she was just kind of the kind of person that would do that. You know what I mean? She was a nice person. Now, obviously, again, this kind of shit bites you in the ass sometimes. She was just being nice to him because he was a classmate. He was a friend. He was into the same shit that she was into. And he was struggling. Like, he was having a hard time learning German. She knew German. And she was helping him with his German. You know what I mean? That's all she thought. But what she didn't realize was that he was kind of obsessing over her this whole entire time and sort of like falling in love with her. She did not seem to be aware of this at any stretch. She didn't see him that way, obviously. So, she thought he was just a friend or a classmate that she was helping out. So she would actually go to his apartment sometimes. Like, they would study together, and she would, like, read to him, like, German poems and stuff, because he was into that, ostensibly to help him with his stuff. Now, before the killing occurred, she had been to his house a couple times. Like, they hung out a bit. Several times previous to this. So, like I said, I think that was kind of like, I don't know if he did it intentionally, but he was kind of breaking down her, because they had hung out a bunch. Like, she didn't have any reason to, like, distrust him. He hadn't done anything untoward or weird or anything like that alarmed her in any way. So she was just like, yeah, I'm just helping him with German and we're hanging out. It didn't seem that weird to her. Apparently one time, he had her over at the apartment. They had, like, dinner, and they were reading some German poems or whatever, and she was helping him with his languages. And he said later that he had planned to kill her that night, but he kind of chickened out. Like, they had dinner, like, she read it, and he kind of thought about it, and then some sources even say that he might have even pointed the gun at her without her noticing, and then was kind of like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Like, he kind of, like, wimped out. But she didn't see it. But then, like, after she left, he said that he started, like, sniffing and licking, like, all the cushions that she had sat on.
Trying to get some of
like, trying fragrance. To get some of her essence.
Some of their fragrance.
I guess, which... Yeah. Like I said, I was watching Bailey Sarian, like, earlier, and she said... You know how it's not that weird, like, if you're really into somebody and, like, if they're at your house and they leave and, like, their cologne or their perfume, like, is still there and, like, you kind of smell the pillow, like, ooh, it smells like them. It's like, that's kind of normal, right? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of normal. I mean, I think. But, it's like, well, yeah, because, you had that cologne. Yeah. You had that cologne that I liked. You still have it. Because I was like, ooh, like...
Obsession.
Yeah, it was Obsession for Men. I especially like it. I don't know if I'd like it on anyone that wore it. I don't know. You
associate that shit with me.
I just associate that smell with
I like that one. I like Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just associate that smell with you because you always wore it when I met you when we were first hanging out.
Started buying that shit in the Army. Out of the PX.
It's just you always, like, smell... All your clothes smelled like that. And, like, when I went to your house... Like, your sheets and kind of smelled like that a little bit. Yeah. So I always associated that smell with you.
Yeah.
So I still associate that smell.
It's a 90s smell.
It is kind of.
Yeah.
It's still nice though. I
It's
like
like
that.
an old people smell nowadays.
I mean, you've still got it. I still like that smell.
It's still expensive.
I still like that smell.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't really have any signature scent because I just kind of bought whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was cheap.
But
That's
Jimmy Choo.
That's why that was one of the things he's like,
It
I'm
was.
gonna find you a signature scent.
Yeah, Jimmy Choo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We kind of went to the department store and he's like smelling different ones and I was smelling different ones and he came up with this one. He's like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And like I smelled it. I was like, that is it.
Yeah.
It was Jimmy Choo.
Yeah.
It's called I Want You.
Yeah.
Is-
Oh, look,
is the
that's
smell.
some money.
Oh, thank you very much. Stu sent us a super chat. Hi, friends. I
Absolutely.
hope your day was fantastic, full of good energies. Yeah, pretty much. Beautiful vibes.
Thank you.
Awesome things that happened that are only beautiful and good, not negative. Well, you know, we finally got our internet back. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. You know what I mean? That's why we didn't do the show last night because we didn't have any fucking internet. Which
Yeah.
you probably know because you live around here.
Yeah.
So yeah, internet was out from Tuesday morning to late Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Not fun because, like I said, I work remotely and I can't really do much without the fucking internet. So I was getting a little stressed out. But yeah, so it's a little weird that he's like sniffing I'll give him sniffing the cushions. Okay, it's a little weird. I kind of get it. But licking the cushions, like he was trying to like taste her and stuff. That's okay.
It's that white girl power.
That's a little weird.
That white girl power had him under control.
I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there was that. So I mean, obviously she didn't know any of that stuff had happened after she left. So he decides he's going to invite her over again. And this time he's going to go through with it. June 11th, 1981. So he invites her over. He's like, well, you remember last time you were here, you read that German poem that I like so much. And I want you to record it for me, like on my cassette recorder, so I can listen to it back and like practice. And she did not think anything was weird about this at all. Like I said, they had hung out. She had been to his apartment. Nothing weird had happened. So she didn't think anything of it. You know, why would she? So she goes. And she gets to the house. They have some dinner. He sets up the cassette recorder. And she sits at his desk and starts to read the poem. Now, the desk is kind of like, I think it was like against the wall and like faced the window kind of thing. So she's there reading the poem into the recorder, and he sneaks up behind her with a .22 rifle and shoots her in the back of the neck. Just bam. And she pretty much immediately slumps to the ground, dead. And Issei was so overwhelmed by what he had done. Because, like I said, he just wanted to eat her. He didn't want to kill her. He just realized that he would have to kill her
To
eat her.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a fan of having to do this, but he was going to do it anyway. So he just shot her. I mean, the only good thing is that she probably didn't know it hit her. By all accounts, she was dead immediately. So she didn't know any of the shit that happened to her after, which is some small consolation, I guess. He was so overwhelmed by what he had done that he fainted. and he was out for some period of time. So she's laying there dead and he's like passed out unconscious because he was overwhelmed. He couldn't take it. But then when he wakes up and realizes what has happened, he's like, she's dead, and now I can do what I've been fantasizing about, like, all this time. You know? So, pardon me, but it's going to get, like, pretty graphic from here on out.
That's what the show's about, though.
Because, so, evidently, he gets excited about it, and he's like, takes all her clothes off and rapes the body, because of course he
sex with
does.
her, yeah.
Necrophilia. And he then starts. Well, initially he was just kind of like, well, I'm just gonna like eat her, like I'm just gonna bite her and like tear chunks off. He discovered that that's a lot harder to do than you might think. Like your teeth are not really sharp enough to. He goes for the ass first. He's a booty man, I suppose.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just gonna bite chunks of her ass off, but he couldn't do it like with just his teeth. So he's like, well, I don't really. So he has like this other like kind of a little knife, and he's like, oh, I'll get that, and he tries to do that, but that's not really sharp enough either. So then he goes to the store and buys like a meat cutting knife, like a butcher's knife, like from the store, and then goes back to the apartment.
Yeah.
To cut pieces off to fucking eat.
So what did he think of the taste?
He actually thought it was quite delicious.
Okay.
Some of the shit that he said
All right.
was that he was surprised that the fat in the human body was like corn colored.
Yeah.
He thought
yellow.
For some reason he thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
And he also said that some of the flesh that he ate like melted in his mouth like raw tuna, like sushi.
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially. And he thought it was like really, really good. He took pictures of all this shit too, like I said, while he was doing it.
Yeah, he flayed parts of her out and shit. Put her on plates.
Yeah. Like he cut off her breasts, and he cut out her heart. Like he weighed stuff too. And he cut off pieces of her. He seemed like real into like wanting to eat people's like butts and thighs, which I guess if you're gonna eat a human, which don't
that's
do
where
that.
all the meat.
That's where all the good
meat
tasting
is on a deer.
Meat is.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I've never been super curious about what a human tastes like. You know what I mean?
Pork. They say
I've heard they taste like pork. But that's what cannibals say. They taste like pork, which makes sense. I mean, you know what I mean. But I'm not gonna eat a person. I'm not that curious about it. Like I like meat and everything, but I don't like meat that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now some of the pieces he ate raw. But he seemed very excited about like experimenting with like different ways to eat the stuff, like cooking pieces in different ways, using different sauces. Yeah. Some pieces he baked, like some pieces he deep fried, like some pieces he wanted. You know what I mean?
He enjoyed it.
Yeah, he was having a great time.
Okay.
He was having a great time.
Did he have sides, or was he just going straight?
You know,
I
don't know.
Going straight with the protein.
This is so messed up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can see why people get fascinated by this kind of stuff, because it's morbid curiosity, right? It's just kind of like people eating other people is such a taboo that you almost kind of have to make a joke about it because it's so not ridiculous, because some people do it, but it's just kind of like,
well, it's a taboo in the civilized world.
Yeah, it's just so beyond the pale.
Yeah.
It's so beyond most people's experience that they're just kind of like fascinated, but like despite themselves, because they're just kind of like, what the fuck is that like? Like, what are we having a fucking ass roast with? Like, what would you serve with that? You know what I mean?
Cannibalism is actually much more common than people think it is.
Yeah,
it happens right now in Africa, in war-torn regions. Any place where there's fucking famine, the weak are usually eaten. Fucking Haiti, about a year back, that shit was collapsing. There was a lot of cannibalism. The main warlord's name is Barbecue, and he was fucking barbecuing people and eating them. And in some of these tribal, the Indians were like that too. The American Indians, they did cannibalism. A lot of it was ritual in a certain way, though. They thought that if you ate a human heart of an enemy and some of his flesh, that you'd gain their strength, their power.
That's kind of feel like what this dude was kind of thinking too.
Yeah. And a lot of the islander people, you know, fucking Samoans, fucking Micronesians, fucking all of them, were cannibals. Because protein's at a premium. There aren't big animals on those islands. If you get some meat, it's like a gift from God. And there was also kind of like a ritualistic cannibalism if a loved one had died. You're
Yeah,
supposed to eat
that's
them.
actually
So
quite common too. Like,
it's like a gift from your relatives.
yeah,
that
like
you're-
they're giving, which I
Yeah.
kind of get that.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of messed up. I don't think I would want to eat a loved one that died. But like I said, if you grew up in that
Yeah.
culture, then it wouldn't be weird.
There's evidently like cannibalism happening in India, but it's ritualistic like that. The person dies, you eat them.
Well, it's like
it's a
consuming
cult,
their
yeah.
essence, like.
Right, yeah.
And I kind of feel like this dude, I don't know if he's just bullshitting or if he really did think this, but he seemed to have that kind of mindset where he thought that consuming the person would imbue some of their characteristics to him because he felt inferior. So he's like, I'm going to eat somebody
And get bigger
beautiful
and,
and healthy and strong, and
I'll gain
I
that.
will get that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if he actually believed that.
Wishful thinking, fantasy.
or if he was
Fantasy.
just fantasizing, because he was very fantasy prone.
Fantasy, yeah.
So it might have been just that. But so I could understand it in that context because, like I said, there are a lot of cultures,
They
not
do
a lot,
that.
but some cultures that have that
Ancient primitive culture
idea about cannibalism. And
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I get where that idea comes from. Like, I don't think like that, but I get where that idea comes
Primitive societies are hunter-gatherer. In hunter-gatherer societies, you're constantly on the move, and you're in an environment where you can't go to the grocery store and get a steak. There isn't even any
from.
money.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy.
Everything's
for us.
just what you hunt, and there may not be a lot of game, and you may not have the ability to kill the game. Maybe you don't have guns. So when a person dies, that's one of your troop. Everybody cannibalizes them because that's protein. That's a free meal, and it's high quality protein. So it makes sense in that situation
Yeah, like I said, I
because you
understand
don't waste that.
where that idea comes from.
And you have a loved one who's died, and they're giving you what's left of them, so you can have a meal.
Yeah.
To strengthen yourself. So the tribe is conserving its energy.
And they're
So
kind
you-
of keeping you alive in
They're
a weird
keeping you
way
alive, so you
also.
can find the next score.
Right.
Totally understandable. One step above that is that you're in a tribe that's more alpha. You're fucking winning. You have meat. You've killed enemies. Those enemies are not wasted either. You're going to eat those. So you can get stronger and defeat more enemies. You've gained that enemy's strength. That's what they're thinking. A modern person would say, no, you gained that enemy's fucking calories and
yeah.
protein.
Which it's kind of strength,
It's
I
kind of the
guess.
same thing. Kind of the same thing.
But it's not bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
You
not,
gain something from it.
and all races did it. Vikings did it. Fucking, white
Sure.
people
Like
did
I
it.
said, it's not
Modern
weird.
white people did it.
It's not that weird.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a whole different thing. Like, eating your loved ones that have
Yeah.
died of natural causes.
Yeah.
Because in a ritualistic thing, or just like straight up murdering an innocent
Yeah,
person
and
eating
all
them
throughout
because
even
of a sexual fetish.
More recent history, you know what I mean? Fucking World War II, Stalingrad was surrounded by enemies, and then it was surrounded by the Russians themselves trying to starve the fucking city out, and cannibalism happened inside of Russia in the 40s, So anybody can end up being a cannibal.
Well, I mean, we did
You
a
don't have a
show-
choice. You got to eat.
Well, yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, look at the rugby players that crashed in the Andes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like they didn't like it, but it's just kind of like you want to survive.
You got to eat these dead
You got to
passengers.
do it. It's like
Yeah.
you would have done
Yeah.
it, I would have done it, anybody would have done it.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
wouldn't-
like it, you'd
Yeah.
probably be fucked up about it for the rest of your life, but you
Nah,
got to do
you
it.
get over it because
you got to
what
do it.
They were already dead.
Yeah, you didn't kill them.
You didn't kill them to eat them. They were already dead. And you're like, look, fucking, we're going to depersonalize this. We're not fucking, you know what I mean? We're not trying to humiliate this dead person. This dead person is helping us survive.
Yeah,
And
that's
we're going to
all.
honor them. Fucking, and the meat's frozen. We're up on top of this fucking mountain in fucking
Yeah.
Himalaya, up in the Andes. Okay, so fucking, we got this protein. We're going to eat this.
I mean, you'd
Yeah,
be
man.
dumb not to.
Right, and
I know
we're
you
gonna
don't
keep
like
the
it.
heads
I don't
over
like
here.
it.
We're gonna keep the heads over here. So when the rescue party comes, we can say, "Let's."
We
this
can
is all
we can
go-
identify
we
the
can-
person.
We can identify
That's all you
everybody.
can do.
That's
It's like,
you know.
that's like I said, it's a horrible situation
But those
to be
dead
put in,
people,
but I don't blame those people.
Yeah,
for doing
those-
that.
and those-
that's exactly
and those dead people would totally understand. They're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and eat this."
Hey, dude,
I ain't
like I
dead there
said,
anymore.
if I'm
Yeah.
in a plane and it crashes,
If I'm crashing, I'm dead. You have
and I'm
it,
dead,
have at
eat it.
Have at it.
I really do not care.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Just try to stay alive.
I'll be dead.
Yeah. You're dead.
What?
You're not in there.
What do I care? So, and I don't even care, but it's like, oh, respecting my
Yeah.
body or anything like that. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool if
Just
like
put the heads in the
my
corner,
family
put
knew
the
what
name
happened to me and
underneath
shit
there.
like that. But it's just kind of like
Just-
I'm not concerned about
Just
it.
label my head.
Yeah,
You
don't-
go that.
don't
Yeah.
worry about
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I'm not precious about like my remains
Yeah,
or
yeah.
nothing. So it's just kind of I get some people are and that's cool, but it's just kind of like, I mean, seriously, I was like, look, if we're ever in this, God forbid, if we're ever in a situation where it's like there's cannibalism has to come on the table, it's just like, just eat me. It's like, it's fine. I don't really care. I don't care. I'm not in there. It's okay. Grampter says, I used to make killer mixtapes on my cassette recorder circa 1985. I would then give my mixtapes to girls I was crushing on, hoping they would appreciate my taste of time. I relate to that so hard. I was a big mixtape maker back in the day. Did that probably up until the mid 90s, I feel. Not so much, I didn't send them to crushes or anything like that, but it's like me and my friends would like exchange them, or I would make mixtapes to, you know, give to people. And it's like, this is me, like right now, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I guess some people got it, but most people are just kind of like, I'm not listening to that. It's like I know not that now, but you know, it's just kind of a way that you were trying to connect to other people, I suppose. Elizabeth Jack says, did you guys hear about Armin Maives? Yeah, we did a show about him. I don't remember how long ago it was. It was a while back, but we did do a show about him. I'm kind of fascinated by cannibal killers. Not as much as I'm fascinated by like couple killers, but cannibal killers is probably like right up there. But like I said, to some degree, cannibalism, it's weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm just saying that I can understand how they got from A to B, you know? Like, this guy has issues, okay? That's an understatement. But I understand how he got to that point. I don't think like that. But I understand, like, it kind of makes sense to me, like, how he got to that point, you know?
You're not condoning it though. You don't.
No,
kill a person.
obviously.
But
You know,
yeah.
I don't condone it. I'm
It
just saying
computes
I
us-
understand.
yeah.
And like I said, I think that's like people freak out when you say it's just kind of like, oh, we need to understand serial killers. Oh, you're justifying. We're not justifying.
Yeah.
You want to understand because it's like you want to recognize
Yeah, this
that in younger people so you can like nip it in the bud. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We want to understand it so we can prevent it. You don't want to.
This particular dude, I understand what he's talking about. But this particular, he needed to be convicted of first degree murder and given the fucking death sentence. Really,
Yeah, well,
because he
as
planned.
we'll-
He planned this.
As we'll see, that is not what happened.
He killed a girl that had was a beautiful girl that had all kinds of promise, just so he could fulfill a fantasy. No,
Yeah.
you need to die.
Well,
But
yeah.
I understand what he's talking about, and fucking maybe he's a hapless fucking sap piece of shit. Okay, yeah, I have empathy for you, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna kill you.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna fucking elect. You
This-
need to die by lethal
This
injection.
dude probably should have been. This should have been nipped in the bud much
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Than it was, because I
Yeah.
kind of feel like his wealth and privilege afforded him a great deal of shielding. He did get some therapy and stuff like that, but it seems like nobody really did anything about, you know, any of the red flags that he was displaying when he was younger. So obviously that led to the point we got where, you know, this beautiful, accomplished young woman was murdered for absolutely no reason. Just because this dude he got off on, like, wanting to eat somebody. And that was the only reason. You know? That was the only reason that was his friend.
Elizabeth Jack's asking you a question there.
Yeah, I saw that.
We answered it already. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a show.
Yeah,
whole
we
show
did.
on
We
it.
did a show about him.
Yeah.
We did a show about him.
Yeah.
We did a show about him, and who was that other cannibal? Chikatilo? That Russian dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a show about him too. We've done a lot of cannibal killer shows, weirdly. So I think so he spent a couple of days with the body, like cutting bits off of it, trying different things. Also, the first night after he killed her, and after he'd cut some pieces off of her, he took what was left of her body, like, to bed with him and, like, cuddled with it.
With the pieces?
And
the parts?
I mean, I don't know how much he had cut off at that point. Like, I think he
yeah.
had just cut some off of her butt and, like, off, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, ugh.
He was able to lift her, though.
Yeah, even though she was about 130 pounds. Well, when she wasn't, like, all cut up. But, so, evidently, he did a Ted Bundy on the head. Because he cut her head off. Yeah. But he had sex with a dead body, for sure. So, necrophilia also. Let's add that.
Yeah.
Man, we've done so many necrophilia shows.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
That is one fetish, if you want to call it that I do.
That bitch crazy. Yeah.
That is so gross.
Yeah.
So he kind of keeps her in the apartment for a couple of days. Because I think he was expecting, well, she's going to start to decompose, and it's like, I'm going to have to get rid of her somehow. But it's like, he gets up the next day, and he's like, around the next day, and he's like, no, it's still good. Like, she still smells good, and she still tastes good. There's no flies or anything like that. So it's like, so I can still play with it, I guess. So there was that. So he was kind of jacked about that. Like I said, so he's cutting pieces off, cooking them in different ways, eating some pieces raw. Shit like that. He even tried, this is gross, but he even thought he's going to try and eat, I'm not sure a delicate way to say this. He's going to try and eat her butthole.
That would have been like chewing on a rubber band. What the fuck is he talking about?
He just spit it out. He said it tasted gross.
Yeah.
Well, duh. What did you think?
Yeah.
I don't know why he thought to... This is what happens with these fantasy-prone motherfuckers. They have all these, like, cool ideas about stuff, and it's like... Reality is a lot different. So he does this for a couple days, just basking, like, oh, he finally did it, and he's just trying to fulfill all his fucking fantasies, right? But obviously, after a couple days, you know, the body's gonna start to, like, attract attention. Flies are gonna come around. It's gonna start decomposing, like, as bodies do. So he decides, I need to get rid of the body. So June 13th, 2 days after the murder, he takes what's left of the body, the head, you know, a couple of the limbs, the trunk. Like, he had cut some off. I think he had eaten about 20, or cut off, like, about 20 pounds at this point. So there's still, like, probably 110 pound body at this stage. So he cuts the body into smaller pieces. And he puts it... This is also kind of hilarious how this fucking thing went. So he puts what remains of the body into two suitcases. I think they were Louis Vuitton suitcases, so kind of pricey, I'd imagine. But, you know, wealthy family. That was probably just regular suitcases that you bought. I don't know how much those are. But he had bought them a few days before, evidently for this very purpose. So he puts the body parts in these two suitcases. And then, this is so fucking funny to me. So he didn't have a car. I mean, he lives in Paris. It's a big city. You don't usually need a car. He calls a taxi and asks the taxi to take him to this big park. Bois de Boulogne. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's this massive, massive public park in Paris. It has an amusement park and all kind of shit in it. And a zoo and shit. It's huge. So he asked the taxi driver to take him there with these two super heavy suitcases. And he's a little 4'9" frail motherfucker. So he's having a little trouble carrying them. So the taxi driver kind of helps him with the bags, and the taxi driver jokes, "What, you got a body in here?"
Damn. What'd he say?
No. It's just a bunch of books.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of books. I know they're really heavy. It's just a bunch of books. There was a body in there. But, like, yeah. So, like, the fact that, I mean, you know, I would make that joke. So I get it. But, yeah, there was a fucking body in there. So here's the hilarious part. So he has a cab driver take him to this park with 2 suitcases with body parts in them. And he gets out of the taxi with the suitcases. And obviously, like I said, the suitcases are heavy and he's kind of like a small dude. And he's having a bitch of a time. His plan was he was going to take him to this lake in this park. And he was going to drop them in the lake and hopefully they would sink and nobody would find them or whatever. But I guess he didn't count on them being super heavy and him being a tiny ass dude. And so he couldn't really carry them. Also, I think he didn't count on this park is really popular and it's super crowded. There's like people everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's evening, like it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night, but still it's Paris. It's this big park. Everybody goes there. So there's people all around.
He was a very
There's
Japanese
people all
thing.
around.
He's like, well, they'll go to the park. It'll be desolate. No,
there's
you're
people
in
everywhere.
Civilization, bitch.
There's people everywhere.
People everywhere.
And so multiple people notice this tiny little Japanese man
With these cases.
dragging these suitcases through this park. Like, what the fuck is that dude up to? Like, nobody intervened, but they were just like, that's weird. They noticed.
Yeah.
You know, he stood out. So he finally drags them and he's getting super tired. And he drags them like to the edge of the lake or kind of near the lake or whatever. And he's worn out and he kind of leaves them there and he kind of like walks forward a little bit, like to the lakeside or whatever. He's like, man, I gotta put these in here, like, and I don't want anybody to see me.
So funny that this bitch didn't realize that the park is still civilization.
There was people everywhere. It was super crowded.
He thinks the park is the wilderness. In France, there really isn't any wilderness in France from the American
not
point
in
of view.
Paris,
What the fuck
anyway.
are you talking about?
Like I said, it's a park and but it's massive and it's just kind of like there's a zoo but there's like it's crowded like all the time.
Yeah, it's fucking
like it's a
funny.
big hangout spot. So there's like people everywhere. So he kind of finds, like I said, a little bit of a park where there's not that many people around and he kind of rests. And he leaves the suitcases like a little way. Like he kind of leaves them and then like he kind of walks up to the lake edge or whatever. And he's just like, oh man, I didn't realize what an ordeal this would be, I guess, or something like that. And then somebody sees the suitcases and doesn't realize that they're his. Like he just kind of sees them sitting there and it's weird that there's suitcases sitting there. And so this guy comes up and he says to him, hey, are these yours? You know, because they were just sitting there.
Yeah.
And he says, no.
Yeah.
And then he runs away.
Yeah.
And then the dude was like, the fuck was that all about?
Yeah.
And then he gets really curious, so he goes to the suitcase and he opens them.
And finds one.
Well, he doesn't see the body, but he sees like this, like a bloody sheet
Yeah.
that, you know, that he had wrapped the body in. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, makes a big stink about it. And everybody in the park is like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So like, call the cops.
Yeah.
So it's like, so everybody calls the police. And like, so they call the cops show up. They pick up the suitcases, they take them back to the morgue or whatever, and they open them. There's just fucking body parts in the fucking suitcases, obviously.
Yeah.
And so they go back and they interview like the people at the park. They're like, yeah, there was this little tiny Asian man and he was dragging these fucking suitcases. And then those were the suitcases. And then they contacted the taxi and then the taxi driver comes forward and said, yeah, there's this little Asian man like had these super heavy suitcases. And I joked him about the body and everything like that. So they were very quickly able to pinpoint who this motherfucker was. Because like I said, it's France. It's like how many little tiny Asian men are going to be like dragging...
Sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, he sticks out like a sore thumb.
I think it's funny that
so many people saw him.
He thought the park...
So many people.
He thought the park was the wilderness. That's
so many people came forward and just like, yeah, it was like this little weird Asian man. Like so many like noticed him because he was dragging the fucking... He's like, oh, and they're like, what the fuck is that dude?
It'd have been better to take him downtown and just fucking
jeez,
leave him on the fucking side of the street. He tries to.
It's
hide
like
him
you
in the
can't
wilderness.
fucking stick out like that. Like I said, you're in France.
Yeah.
You're Japanese, which you know that's gonna make you stick out a little bit, but you're super short, 4'9".
Yeah.
And you're also struggling to carry these. Like people are gonna remember that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna murder somebody,
yeah,
You gotta kind of blend in.
And
that's
you
not blending
You didn't
in.
take your own car like a man. You fucking got a damn fucking cab.
That's like calling a fucking Uber.
Yeah. They're gonna remember you.
Hey, I just murdered somebody. I have the body on me.
I remember a dude that had those 2 suitcases, and I dropped him off for that.
Yeah.
I know that guy. He was a Japanese dude. He was like as big as your thumb, little bitty tiny. Oh, we'll find him. Fucking that's what happened.
Yeah, they found him like immediately.
Yeah, they were like, "Who's the girl?" Okay, well, it's a Japanese girl that this. It's a Japanese dude that this girl knows. Which Japanese girl does this guy? Which Japanese guy does this girl know? And fucking they'll come right up with that shit. Oh yeah, he went to school with her.
Yeah, they like immediately.
Boom, that's it.
Immediately identified.
Dumbass. We're so fucking Japanese master criminal.
Not really.
Master
like I said,
criminal.
I think he only thought as far as the fantasy.
Yeah.
I think he had kind of, sorta planned about getting rid of the body, but obviously not competently.
But he had the body for several days. He could
2 days he had it.
He had plenty of time to calm the fuck down and to cook up a way to dispose of that body.
You'd think he would have come up with a better plan.
I'm going to take it to the park. No one will ever see him. He's in fucking France.
You're in Paris, France.
You're in fucking Paris.
One of the most population-dense cities in the world.
What the fuck are you talking about?
In one of the most popular parks in the city.
It would have been much, you didn't think about, let's go to a fucking ski resort somewhere or a fucking camping place somewhere with these, fucking a day and a half away.
I don't know.
And fucking I'll check in and I'll drop these off in the, Or you didn't even think about, I'll rent a car and put these in the trunk and I'll just drive them up to a fucking dead end road somewhere here in the city and leave them on the side of the road.
And just
nobody will see me. Fucking,
Well, if you rent a car, though, you'd have to use a fake name, which probably would have been easier back in those days.
Well, no one would have associated the car with those suitcases.
True.
If you rented a car.
That's true.
They would spend, you rented a car.
I'm just saying that he went about this in one of the stupidest ways.
Master criminal. He's a master
could
criminal.
have gone about it.
Yeah. Criminal mastermind. Lex Luthor. Like I said,
Lex Luthor. You can see that his entire end goal of this entire shit show was he just wanted to eat this girl.
Yeah.
And he didn't really think of anything beyond that. Like, I think he realized that at some point he would have to dispose of the body in a way that he wouldn't get caught.
Pure impulse.
But he didn't really think it all the way through clearly.
No. Pure impulse.
He was so fixated on all the different ways that he wanted to consume her that he didn't realize what the aftermath was going to be. So so he got caught pretty much immediately. Like, there were so many fucking witnesses that had seen him in the park carrying those suitcases. And he stood out like a sore thumb. So the police arrested him like literally the next day. Like, he had dumped the suitcases like that night, and then like the next day they showed up at his apartment like, "Hi, you're under arrest." But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will give him this much: he didn't deny it. As soon as the cops showed up, he basically said,
"Yeah, it was me."
Yeah, it was me. And he said, "I ate her to possess her soul." That's what he said when they arrested him.
That's what you're supposed to say.
So they were like I said, I watched the Bailey's hearing, and she's like, "Case closed." You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, pretty much. Like, he just basically said, "Yep, I did it," and they were like, "Okay, cool." So they take him into custody. And they're immediately kind of shocked by his emotional detachment, for one thing. Like, he did not hide it. He's just basically like, I didn't want to kill her, but I wanted to eat her, so I had to kill her. And it's like, I wanted to absorb her energy or whatever. Right. And he was very articulate in the way he laid out, like, everything he was wanted to do. Now, because of the way he was talking, he was actually deemed mentally unfit for trial. Because they said, well,
bitch,
bitch, are insane.
Yeah.
So what they initially wanted to do, they arrested him and they gave him a psychoanalysis, and because of the way he was talking, they're like, we should institutionalize him for the good of everyone.
For the good of mankind.
Yeah, because it's like, this dude's not right. So they sent him to a prison for a little while, and then they sent him to a psychiatric hospital. Now, in theory, he was supposed to be detained indefinitely because he was diagnosed with pretty much severe personality disorder, delusional fixation, paraphilic fixation, and they didn't think he would ever get better. They thought that he didn't have any normal empathy, he didn't have any remorse for what he had done. They're like, he's obviously not getting any better, so we're going to put him in a psychiatric institution, and we're not going to let him out. But that's what so essentially he was deemed incompetent. Like, he can't stand trial because he is delusional, he's crazy. So they sent him to an institution. So at this point, this seems good. It seems like the right thing to do. But this would complicate matters later on in a weird kind of fucking way. Now, there were kind of some stirrings of, obviously if someone is deemed, just like in the United States, I mean, European and American law is fairly similar. So it's like, if you're deemed mentally unfit to stand trial, as in you don't realize what you did was wrong necessarily, which he didn't really seem to, then you should be institutionalized. You can't stand trial. So they put you in an institution, and you just are in there until they deem you fit to let you out, or they might not let you out. There's no sentence. However, because he was a foreign national, this kind of posed a question. It's like, should France as a country bear the cost and responsibility of hospitalizing this guy for whatever time period is necessary? Now what happened was that after he was put in the institution, and then details of his crimes started to leak out, the French public kind of flipped out a little bit, because they're like, look, we don't want our tax dollars paying for this crazy Japanese man to be institutionalized in France on our dime for this bullshit that he did. You can kind of understand where they were coming from. They didn't really want to pay for that, so they started agitating to deport him. And the French government were kind of they were getting a lot of heat from the press and from the public and stuff like that. It's like, look, we don't want to pay to support this dude's institutionalization. We want him sent back to Japan. Make it their problem. Yeah, he did the crime here. Yes, he's crazy. We don't want him here. Get him out of here. So there was a lot of agitation to have him deported. And finally, the French government fine, we'll deport him. And I will say, too, that Issei's father, like I said, very wealthy, and was always using his money to get his crazy-ass son, out of scrapes, reportedly, allegedly, gave several million yen to someone or other to have his son returned to Japan.
How much was the several million yen back then?
I think it was 10 million yen. I don't know how much that is nowadays.
Okay.
So the French government were like, fine, we don't want anything to do with this motherfucker. He's crazy. The public does not want to pay to support him in a mental institution for the rest of his life, potentially. So it's so probably it'd be best for everybody involved to deport him to Japan. Hopefully they will do something with him over there, but we're making him their problem. So that's kind of what they did.
Okay, so they pawned him off to the Japanese.
Yeah, well, they didn't, like I said, they didn't really want to deal with his ass. They were, like I said, at first, they were fine with institutionalizing him forever.
Yeah.
That's what they did initially, but because of so much political pressure, they were kind of like, no, let's deport him. So they sent him back to Japan. Now, there was also a thing where there was a Japanese writer named Inuhiko Yamota. And they visited Issei Sagawa at the asylum. And the interviews that they did were turned into like a book, which was called In the Fog. And this was like a 200-page confessional, essentially, in which Issei talked very candidly about all the shit that he had done. Now, this was serialized before it was turned into a book, like in like a newspaper or magazine in Japan for quite a large amount of money, $700,000 in today's money. And because of this, because of the media surrounding his case and like the fact that he was talking about it so freely, that was another reason that the French government was like, yeah, we don't want to deal with this bitch, get him out of here. So they deported him. So in 1984, he was deported back to Japan. Now, this decision was made under the assumption, incorrect as it turned out, that the Japanese authorities would prosecute him or hospitalize him or something. Sadly, that is not what occurred. There was some kind of weird jurisdictional gap. I'm not really sure if I understand exactly what happened. So he gets back to Tokyo, and he underwent a psychiatric evaluation. Now, the Japanese psychiatrist concluded, based on their own criteria, that he was not insane, that he was fully cognizant of his actions, which is generally the criteria for insanity, like you didn't know what you were doing was wrong. They're arguing that he is sane because he knew what he was doing was wrong. But they said, yes, he has narcissistic tendencies. Yes, he has paraphilic tendencies. Yes, he has obsessive tendencies. But he was aware what he was doing was wrong, so he's therefore not insane. So under Japanese law at this time, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I understand it. Under Japanese law at the time, because the French insanity ruling had nullified the possibility of retrial for the same offense, because of double jeopardy kind of laws, which we have here too. The French courts had already dismissed the charges because he was insane, because, like I said, they were going to institutionalize him indefinitely until the uproar. Japan legally could not retry a crime committed in France without an active indictment, which they did not have because France had dismissed it because he was insane. And the extradition rules prevented France from reopening the case. Therefore, Issei Sagawa found himself in quite an extraordinary legal position. No government had jurisdiction to prosecute him. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I completely understand it. But this is what happened. So when he got back to Tokyo, he was kind of put in a psychiatric hospital for a little while. I think ultimately he ended up serving like maybe 2 years. Like in a psychiatric hospital or jail or something like that, yeah. Because they were holding him there. And after that time, he was allowed to sign himself out and was completely free.
Man.
He lived as a completely free man, even though he had murdered and eaten a woman.
Yeah.
In completely cold blood.
Well, she's just a white woman. The Japanese aren't worried about that.
Who cares?
They're worried about one of their own. Think about it.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, that happened in another country. It wasn't one of the Japanese.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it's fine. Here, they would have given that bitch fucking either life or a fucking death sentence. But yeah, that's fucked up. Granthus is in there trying to tell me something about somebody we know. Let me go ahead and read this. A guy named Tom Matthews, sounds familiar, who graduated from Trenton High. I went there for a while. With Granthus works at Huron Valley Psychiatric Prison, a home to a couple of cannibals. And he says one was caught eating his mother's eyeballs after he killed her. Damn. Granthus' friend says that the inmates are all on heavy meds like Therazone. Therazone or Therazine? Therazone. And they sit around drooling on themselves. He says the psych prison is the easiest correctional job in the state of Michigan. Well, yeah, of course. Those fucking psychiatric fucking medications for the fucking criminally insane are basically a chemical lobotomy. You take that shit, your brain activity just fucking shuts down. Your frontal lobes are just fucking toast. You just it's a lobotomy, more than a lobotomy, because fucking I've read stories about people that had double frontal lobotomies in both fucking eyes, and yeah, it fucked them up. But they were able to hold fairly normal lives afterwards. With some of those psych medicines that they have for the criminally insane, no, they're much worse. You're just fucking, like you said, drooling. You're not a person again. Your higher functions are just shut down. Okay, go ahead.
So this whole situation, obviously, for Renée Hartevelt's family, was fucking horrifying.
Oh man, so
and obviously, like, all of the media in Europe were just kind of like, what the fucking fuck? You know what I mean? This is like, why is this dude running loose? Please do some shit about it.
Well,
they were freaking out. Now, it's interesting because this case later became kind of a test case or something that's like studied in schools about like legal jurisdictions and international legal relations and stuff like that, because it's like, because of it was such a failure, because there were so many loopholes that needed to be closed up, many of which have been since then. But you know, it's just kind of like, it kind of sparked debates about, it's like, you know, deporting mentally ill offenders, like, you know, what do you do when different countries have different standards for insanity, that kind of shit. You know, what are the extradition treaties, like all this kind of stuff. You know, and also about double jeopardy laws, because he had essentially he hadn't been released in France. They just thought he was mentally unfit to stand trial, so they were going to hospitalize him indefinitely. But then, because of all the agitation, they were like, okay, well, it'd be easier to just deport him so everybody stops bitching. And that was where the problem arose. Like, had France, I guess, been happy to just put him in a hospital, like throw him in a hospital forever, like, you know, it would have been fine. But it's just kind of like, because everyone freaked out about it, it's like, we don't want to pay for this motherfucker living here. He's not even from here. They were like, yeah, we'll just deport him. And then Japan, when he got there, were like, we don't know what to do with him either. So we'll just let him loose. Why not? Now, I don't want to say to his credit, but I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. They don't think that he killed anyone else. And although, you know, you can't be sure of that, to be honest. But here's the fucked up thing, though. When he got back to Japan and he got released, I guess in this era, in the 80s and 90s in Japan, TV, publishing, anything like that, was kind of going through a wave of, like, sensationalism, you know, like extreme sensationalism, I guess. So you had, like, variety shows, tabloid, you know, magazines, newspapers, and entertainment that was based around shock. We had it here, too. Probably not to this degree, however. But it was kind of climbing in popularity. There had been relaxed broadcast standards. You know, you had a lot of tabloid journalism. And the public was growing more and more fascinated with, like, bizarre, unusual, shocking stuff, like stuff that had been taboo.
What year is this?
This is like 80s, early 90s.
Okay, yeah.
Around that time period.
Around the time of Tushigi's castle. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, so in Japan particularly, this kind of went to an extreme degree. So everybody wanted to see super shocking, super taboo, like, entertainment. So a lot of that stuff got really popular, like, around this time period.
Yeah, and according to Japanese sources that I read about a long time ago, when I read a book called Speed Tribes, which is a Japanese author.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You read that book? That's really good.
Yeah, a long time.
They're talking about how mindless Japanese television actually is. So it's funny how it also drove fads.
Yeah.
But evidently Japanese television was bad, real bad, and mindless, and fucking sensational. But we have that here in the United States.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have that too, but it's like not well. I don't really.
It's going to be in Eastern and Western styles.
I don't really want to like throw stones.
Yeah.
Because we live in a glass house.
Oh
also.
man, our shit was bad too.
Our shit was bad too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I know that people like to cast aspersions like at Japan and say like, oh my god, you guys like essentially lionized a murderer and a cannibal, and made him into like essentially a folk hero. But honestly, in this era, actually even nowadays, I'm not sure that we wouldn't do the same.
Yeah.
I don't think we're any better.
But just the style would be different.
You know?
You read the book Speed Tribes.
A long time ago.
Man, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's fun. Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They even talked about the Yakuza.
Yeah.
The Yakuza. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
It's about Japanese subcultures. Yeah.
So because of this newfangled obsession with transgressive shit, I guess. When he came back to Japan and everybody found out what he had done, he almost became like a cultural icon.
Yeah.
Like the media was just kind of like all over him, right? Like he got reporters all over, like publishers contacting him, TV producers that were calling him up, like wanting me to do some shit. So within a pretty short time period after he was sent back to Japan, he became kind of like a tabloid celebrity, you know? He gave fuck tons of interviews. Like I said, if you want to know what this dude thinks, don't worry about it because it's all over the place. You can read all kind of interviews. He did all kind of TV interviews, magazine interviews. He's very open. He wrote books. He wrote a fucking manga where he illustrated and wrote about what he did to Renée Hartevelt.
Man.
They published that shit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how her fucking family felt? I can't imagine.
Hopefully they didn't know anything about
Also, this is also really special.
Yeah.
One magazine, I think it was more than one, but there was one called Spa.
Yeah.
And they enlisted him as, guess what? A food critic.
A food critic? What the fuck? A food critic?
To, like, talk about restaurants and stuff. Because he's a cannibal, so it's funny. Like, holy crap, I can't imagine. Like I said, I don't want to cast aspersions because I'm sure they would probably do the same shit over here. We're not any better. You know what I mean? But yeah, so he would write, like, all these fucking erudite opinions about, and obviously because there was such a fascination with the macabre and with like taboo kind of subjects, like reporters would straight up ask him, it's like, hey, what does human taste like, and hey, what wine should we pair with that? Like they would ask him questions like that and he would answer them like completely seriously. You know what I mean? And he wrote a bunch of books, he was in a bunch of magazines, and it sold really well. And obviously, like for a long time, he lived off the shit. Like, he had a wealthy family, and they were still giving him money every month or whatever, so he had that kind of backed up, too. But, yeah, he did, like, fucking... He would be on talk shows, like, talking about what kind of women he liked, like, found attractive, like, as in wanted to eat type of thing. It was just really messed up, like, all around. Like I said, I'm not one to... kind of say, oh, you can't show that on TV, or you can't talk about that on TV, or whatever. I'm a pretty open, free speech advocate kind of person. Like, there's some shit that I think that probably you shouldn't say, but I kind of feel like... Can I have another one?
Yeah, I'm making it over right now.
Okay. I kind of feel like if you say fucked up shit and you get consequences for it, that's kind of on you, you know? Like, if you say some fucked up shit on TV and then somebody punches you in your goddamn face and you deserved it, oh well. Free speech, motherfucker. That's the other person also exercising their free speech to punch you in the face. You know? So, You just have to realize that free speech doesn't mean you can say whatever the fuck you want and you don't get any consequences for it, is what I'm saying. So, I kind of feel like I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been allowed to do this. I do agree that serial killers and all that shouldn't profit off of, like, for example, if, like, this motherfucker did, you shouldn't be able to, like, write a memoir talking lovingly about killing and eating a woman who is a real fucking human being and making money off of that personally. That should not be allowed. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be allowed to write that book. I'm actually not even saying that you shouldn't be allowed to publish that book. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be allowed to profit off of that. If you wrote it and the profits went to the victim's family, which I think is what they usually do nowadays, that's fine. That's actually win-win. You get to stroke your ego and talk about whatever stupid shit you want to talk about, and the actual people who matter, like, get money out of it. I think that's probably the best situation for all involved. But you personally should not be allowed to profit from writing. Otherwise, every stupid serial killer in prison would be writing some memoir and making up all kind of shit and making money. Meanwhile, the victims' families are like, hey, hi, we're still here. You know what I mean? So it's that. I think that's probably the best situation. However, that did not happen here. Like, he, personally, because he was not in prison, he was a free-ass man. And
free-ass man.
Yeah, and he wrote all this shit. He was like a celebrity.
Well, look,
and he was making money off the shit.
I think he should be able to write. But
I didn't say he shouldn't be able to.
All the proceeds actually should go to the victim's family.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
That's a win-win.
That's how.
Like I said, he should be allowed. You can write about it. You can even make shit up if you want to.
Well, you shouldn't be able to profit.
But you shouldn't be able to profit off of it. And I think that a lot of laws, we have laws like that in the U.S. I don't think they had laws like that in Japan until this. And then afterward they did, because they're like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean?
They hadn't thought of it, probably.
Letting him make a... Well, yeah, it probably didn't occur to them.
Their society hadn't evolved to the point where that shit had happened. When that shit happens, they go, oh, damn, there's a loophole.
Wait,
there.
that's not a great idea, is it?
he can make money off this shit. Well, you got to stop that. Yeah. You know, because what'll happen is you have egotistical motherfuckers going out and committing crimes so they can become rich. Even if they're in prison, they'll do it.
Because they know that people...
Yeah.
And, you know, they're not wrong. They know that people, like my stupid ass, will probably read your shit.
Yeah. And you're dealing with a person that has a fucked up sense of priorities and a fucked up ego. And they're like, well, I don't care if I'm in prison as long as I'm fucking making millions of dollars and it goes into my fucking prison store account. I'll just buy millions of dollars worth of fucking cookies. That's how stupid.
Cookies and cigarettes.
Yeah, cookies and fucking Folgers fucking Folgers fucking freeze-dried coffee. Yeah. And
hey,
cigarettes.
you got to get some little luxuries where you can get them. Like, you know, that's all I say. But the thing about it is that, I'm not saying that. Like I was just saying when you were in there, it's like, I'm not saying that we're not curtailing their free speech. You can write all the books you want. A publisher is free to publish them. People are free to buy them, but I don't think you should profit off of it. No one's stopping your free speech. Yeah. You can write all you want. But people are stopping you from making millions of dollars off the book. And I don't think that's unreasonable. No, well, honestly.
That past litigation here in the United States, you can't do that.
Yeah, like I said, in the United States, I don't even remember when that...
It's an incentive to commit crime.
Yeah. You know, which, like I said, maybe it probably didn't occur to them, honestly, because they have a lot less crime than we have.
The Japanese don't think that way.
Yeah. Until this motherfucker
Until it happened,
along, and then they're just like,
okay, yeah.
Wait, that's not great. Well, and the thing about it, too, is that over time... I mean, he was quite famous for several years, like during the 90s, but as culture does, it evolves. And after, maybe like a decade or so, maybe a little bit more than that, culture had evolved to a point where like, this is messed up. Like, we're not gonna. And so he started kind of like losing his cachet a little bit because people realized how messed up it was.
In the U.S., we went through that already. Killers making money telling stories over what they did. That happened in the 1800s with guys who were fucking gunfighters. They would have fucking pulp novels written about them.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of that shit was false, just attributing fucking gunfights that never happened to some dude, and he would get royalties for it. So America was already primed for the concept of killers making money off of what they did.
Yeah.
So we never really had that particular problem here because I think it was nipped in the bud probably in the fucking late 1800s.
Because we're already terrible.
There's a bunch of killers already.
We already thought of all the terrible stuff.
The only thing...
We're just like, wait, no, that's not right.
The only Japanese killer I would think that wrote a book and fucking got famous and shit would be fucking Miyamoto Musashi, a fucking great Japanese swordsman who was also a Yakuza and a criminal. He wrote a book, fucking, you know, fucking Book of the Five Rings. And I read it. It's a very good book. He gives a lot of good advice about how to develop yourself as a fucking individual man and fighter. But he wasn't around to make that money.
Right.
He was already dead by the time that money was being made. So Japan didn't have that problem yet.
Well, like I said, it's kind of sweet because it like hadn't occurred to them because it hadn't happened.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of degenerate over here, so it already happened multiple times. But like I said, I don't have a problem. I'm a big free speech advocate, and I'm not saying that in a way that's like free speech. Oh, you're free from repercussions. Nobody is. Like I said, if you say some fucked up shit and somebody punches you in your face, that's kind of on you. Like if you said some fucked up shit, you can't say whatever you want without somebody coming back at you. They have free speech also, which I think a lot of people forget. So I don't necessarily have a problem with serial killers or anybody like writing books or something like that about their crimes if they want to. Fine. I don't have to read it. People don't have to buy it. You can write it all you want. A publisher can even publish it. That's their decision. But I don't think they should make money off of it. That should go to the victims' families for sure. And I think that I don't know if it's all the United States, but I think most states have passed laws to that extent where that happens. Unfortunately, that had not happened at this point. So he made quite a bit of money. And like I said, if you watch interviews with him, I don't know if I'd call him smug necessarily, but he for sure was reveling in his celebrity. He didn't really seem to think what he did was all that bad, and he seemed to be having a good time. That's kind of what, in that way, I was kind of feeling like that's kind of why the media were a little bit complicit, because they were kind of treating it like it was like funny. I'm like, that's a real person that he killed and cut up and ate. Like, if that was your daughter or your mom or your wife or something like that, I don't think you would feel the same way if this fucking little ass dude was on there talking about, yeah, I did this and that, and everyone was like, ooh, like, what, did you pair this wine with it or something like that, like making it into a joke kind of?
Well, race was a factor. The girl was a Western, and it wasn't a Japanese citizen, so they can otherize her. When I was in Korea, when I was saying earlier, even some of these Korean girls who were talking with me in cafes, who were like interested in going out with me, still they kind of animalize you and otherize you as if you're not a person like they are.
Yeah.
You're kind of like an alien from another planet, really.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. He's killing
because it wasn't a Japanese.
It wasn't a Japanese
woman.
girl, right?
So you could kind of.
They could. It was more distant to them.
Yeah, they could kind of put it at one remove.
Right, exactly. That's what's happening.
And and that kind of bums me out because, like I said, I write about a lot of true crime and stuff, and it does seem very common that if the victim is not the same race or even social class as the killer, then there's definitely like a different dynamic going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and this was Japan back then. This wouldn't have Japan, that probably wouldn't fly now.
No,
But back in
like I
those
said,
days,
in the 90s, like I
Yeah.
feel like he got famous.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s when there was kind of this thing like ooh shock kind of, which kind of was going on in the US as well. And everybody's kind of like looking for like shocking or taboo kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of fed into that, and he just leaned right into it and, you know, just played that part to the hilt. But I think that by the time the 90s were over, I think people had started realizing, hey, this is kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not funny. It's like not... So I kind of feel like culture had shifted, even in that short time period, where by the time the 2000s rolled around, you know, he was not... Like, everyone kind of saw him as like, dude, that's a murderer. Like a cannibal. We should not lionize this person or like...
We've said it many
give him
times
any-
on the show, man. Internet did change things. Internet fucking introduced to everybody else in the world that had internet that we're all people. You know what I mean? And yeah, the cultures might be different. And the fucking...
People are
they
more
might
or
be
less
different,
the
but-
same.
Right. So,
I mean, yeah, there's differences, but not really. I mean, there's not.
Yeah.
It's not huge.
Well, there are some outliers. There are some weird cultures out there.
Oh, sure.
All right. But...
There's
and-
always extremes.
Yeah. But in general, the differences between the Americans and Japanese are really not that great.
No.
The situation is different but the situation usually is dictated to you by geography. Japan is a small, long, skinny kind of island nation without much racial diversity. America's a bigger country with a lot more natural resources with a bunch of racial diversity in there and a lot more physical freedom because you can't be watched all the time. We have rural areas. Not everything is city. You know what I mean? And that really changes the situation. You know what I mean? It's just like I was saying. He was in France, and he thought he could hide a body in a park.
A park that like
In a
hundreds
park.
of thousands of people
Okay.
that went to.
So
like, on a
mentally,
daily
he's
basis.
still in fucking Japan. You know what I mean? Fucking no, you can't have a body in a park. A park is in a city. Parks aren't in the
It's
wilderness.
in Paris. It's one of the biggest fucking cities in the world.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? But you know, so that's just
Crazy.
one example. Somebody from Mississippi would never see a park in Paris as being the country.
No.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. That's why I thought that was so funny because it
Yeah.
just seems so hapless. Like he's like, well,
Right.
I knew that at some point I would have to get rid of this body. I'm like, okay, yeah. You know, murder 101. But it's just kind of like, I'm going to put it in suitcases, take a taxi to a super crowded public park in the middle of one of the largest
Yeah.
cities in the world
Yeah,
and like try to dump it, even though I'm super conspicuous.
yeah.
He got caught immediately.
Yeah, if you wanted to hide a body in the countryside and you're in France, you want to really be looking more like the Alps or fucking Bavaria or some shit.
I mean,
like
the
that.
reason that there's so many
Fucking-
unsolved murders in the United States
Yeah.
is because there's
vast areas.
swaths of
Yeah.
shit where there's nothing. It's like
Yeah.
it's deserts and forests and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like a lot of people that get killed and don't get identified are killed by like truckers or something like that. They
Yeah.
pick up a sex worker or something like that and then drive her 3 states down there and just dump her on the side of the road. They dump her in the desert. They don't find her for like years and years and she's just bones.
Yeah.
They don't even know who she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's that kind of shit.
And we have a lot of wildlife here. You could throw somebody in the ditch in between two major cities in a kind of a rural area here in Florida. If it was the summertime, that body would be gone in 3 days. The
I mean, there'd
buzzards
still
would
be
get it.
bones,
It
but
would just be bones, and the buzzard would tear
all
it
the
apart,
animals would eat it.
fly away with it.
In
I've
Florida,
seen it happen with turkeys gone in one day. A dead turkey gone in one day. Because the vultures got it. And they tore it up and took it in different places, and then it rotted, and then they swallowed it. Because vultures can't really chew.
and that's the thing, if you
Yeah.
weren't really looking for it, because I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of Florida is developed, but a lot of it is wilderness still,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and the Everglades is
And you
fucking-
honestly don't have to go very far
No.
to find wilderness in
Yeah.
Florida. You really
Yeah.
don't.
You go down to the Everglades, it's like fucking
It's just a vast
reed
swamp.
sea of swamps. Yeah.
I can't imagine how many
Yeah.
bodies are in there.
Yeah. You could throw a body out there.
No one would ever find it.
Yeah.
I'm not giving
and a
anybody any
person
tips.
would not pass that location in a 200 years.
Probably not.
That's how desolate. There are desolate places like that.
But there's like one road through there?
Yeah, there are desolate places like that in Louisiana. And Louisiana
it's just-
is not really considered to be in the middle of nowhere anymore. It was at one time. And if you were to go there today, there are certain places out in the bayou you would never, a man probably hasn't set foot on it in fucking 200 or 300 years. Out in some fucking swamp.
Yeah, like I said, it's a
Yeah.
big country.
Big place, yeah.
It's a big country. So, if you're a murderer, which I hope none of you are, I can totally see how people have gotten killed and just disappeared and they never found their bodies ever, because if somebody dumped them in the desert or in the Everglades or something like that, yeah, they would probably never find them. Ever.
My grandmother found a coin, and I don't know what happened to it. I guess my fucking aunt has it. It was called 1 dansk skilling.
Oh, shit.
A Danish
Yeah.
shilling. One. It was a little coin. And my grandmother found it in a dried up lake bed or pond bed in Mississippi with a metal detector. And it said 1 dense skilling. And the date on it was like 16 something. Or 15 something.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. And that was here in the United States. And she just found... So there are places where people haven't been in hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
And it was out near
It's
near
big-
Laurel, Mississippi.
it's a big country.
And we're like, how did that get there? And fucking
And a lot of it is just like not,
Yeah.
it's just nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing.
a Danish shilling
Yeah.
from the, I think it was early 1600s.
And I mean, that might have just
Yeah.
been from trade, but still.
My grandmother's theory is that somebody threw it into the lake for good luck.
Possibly.
Mississippi.
But all we're saying is that
Dense skilling. I wonder what
This-
it's worth. I don't know.
this dumbass, I guess because he's not from here, or he's not from like some big, vast country, he thought he could just leave a body in a hugely crowded park in the middle of one of the most densely populated cities in the world, and
Yeah.
no one was going to notice. I don't think he thought it through.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when he got caught, he admitted it right away, so I don't think he thought he was going to get away with it. That's why I'm saying that, I don't know, this dude's kind of hard to parse, because he did seem to be trying to hide it, but he wasn't hiding it that good. And then as soon as he got caught, he's like, yeah, I wanted to eat her to, like, you know, consume her soul or whatever. So it's like, I don't think he thought what he did was that bad. It seemed to me that he thought it wasn't that bad. That was the impression that I got. Like, he thought that it was kind of normal. I guess it was normal for him, so he thought it was normal for everyone else. Which, okay. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I had a hard time getting a beat on this dude, to be honest with you. Like, he seemed really smart, but then he did dumbass shit like this. Dumbass shit like dumping the body where he dumped it, or just leaving the suitcases. Nope, not mine, bye. You know, and obviously everyone's like, what the fuck's in that? You know? Not thinking it through. So yeah, so I kind of feel like even though he did get some weird celebrity out of it, and he didn't really get punished, honestly, I think the most that he spent in jail and or a mental institution was maybe 2 years, maybe not even that much. You know, he was really kind of shielded from consequences in a lot of ways, and then kind of profited off of it, seemed to be enjoying his life being on TV, being interviewed for magazines, being interviewed for, like, doing restaurant critic shit. Like, talking about, because, like I said, funny because he's a cannibal, but it's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? So, and also his family supported him for a time. Like I said, later, when they did the documentary, Cannibal, in 2017, his brother also admitted that he was always very supportive of Issei his whole entire life. And he also admitted that he had some urges along the same lines, but had never acted on them, as far as anyone knows. And as far as anyone knows, Issei didn't kill or eat anyone else in the whole time that he was out, but, like, I don't know if I believe that or not. Maybe they just didn't catch him for the shit. Now, the thing about it was that, obviously, his family is wealthy, and they supported him for a long time, and he had all the money from, all the TV appearances and books and stuff like that. However, after his parents died in the 2000s, and as support for him, public support for him, kind of faded after the 1990s, because everyone kind of realized, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we lionizing a fucking murderer and cannibal? So he started to find it harder to profit off of the shit that he had done. And some of the later interviews that you see with him, you can see that he's trying to get people to feel sorry for him, which, nope.
Fuck
sorry.
that bitch.
Sorry. You can cry poor all you want. You murdered and ate an innocent, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
No one feels bad for you. Sorry.
And then the Japanese system protected your ass.
And actually some, like, reporters, like, pointed this out. It's like, you were the luckiest motherfucker in the world.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the world done this, they would be in prison forever.
Yeah.
And you're walking around loose.
Or lethal injection.
But he was still kind of like, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
And he kind of said something, and I'm paraphrasing, but he kind of said something like, well, just knowing that I did what I did and, getting shit about it and stuff like that, that was, like, punishment enough. I'm like, was it?
No. You killed a girl.
No one feels bad for you, bro.
Shot a girl in the back of the neck.
I mean, he's dead now, but you know what I mean. So, by the time the 2010s came around, he actually had a stroke. Like I said, his parents died, so he lost that financial stability and didn't have all the media income because at that point that ship had sailed and, like, culture had moved on, and they're like, yeah, we probably don't want to be glamorizing this kind of person. So he wasn't being called up anymore for TV and whatnot. So he fell into poverty, and he was crying about, oh, I can't find a job because of my past. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever. Who fucking who? So his health started to deteriorate. Like, obviously, he had lifelong health problems and other things. So he was kind of living on welfare. A lot of his friends and family had kind of either died or fucked off. And in 2013, he had a stroke. And after the stroke, he was bedridden. And he couldn't walk without help, like he was in a wheelchair. Now, his brother, who, again, admitted later that he had some of the same proclivities, but had never acted on them, allegedly, actually did come over and, like, helped him out, and they, hired help to come and take care of him and stuff like that. But he lived like that for many years. But he died in 2022 when he was 73. Now, in one of his later interviews, because Vice did an interview with him, like, later in his life, and they asked him, well, did you learn anything? Like, do you not want to do that anymore or anything like that? And he said that even on the train, on the way to the interview, he had seen a woman, and it's like, I would really like to eat her thigh or whatever. So he's like, no, I still... So he didn't learn. He didn't grow. He's still an old man, and he's, like, looking at women and being like, yeah, I'm going to eat her.
Well, I don't think it's about learning. It's about nature.
Ugh.
It's in his nature to do that. That's why the needle and the chair exist. It's in their nature to do that. You kill those fuckers. You can't negotiate with evil or insanity. You can only destroy it. And that's how it is.
And like I said, I think to this extreme,
Yeah.
these people just need to be taken out.
Yeah, you just fucking kill them.
This is not. Most people are fine. Most people are fine.
Dudes like this are freaks.
Yeah,
The
dudes
freak.
like this is like 1% maybe.
Yeah.
Like
They're abominations.
I like to say that it's like, because, you know, I watch a lot of true crime, so I like to say, ooh, I trust nobody, which I don't, but it's just kind of like, this kind of shit, that's very rare. We just hear about it a lot because, you know, we have the internet.
Bitch was an abomination.
Yeah. This dude probably, honestly, you know, maybe this is mean, but it's like,
What you doing?
probably when his mom fell down the stairs, it probably would have been better if he had just died in the womb.
Yeah.
It would have saved over in a lot of trouble.
He was a substandard man who killed an excellent girl.
Yeah.
And then went on to brag about killing an excellent girl. No. Bitch, you gotta die.
Yeah.
That's the American way.
I do like the poetic justice that he had a stroke and he couldn't eat normal. He had to be fed through a tube.
Yeah, but he lived to his 70s.
For many years.
He lived to
so
to
at
his
least
70s.
at least he suffered.
But
I mean,
that's a
something.
natural life expectancy, though. You know what I mean? Fucking no.
That's a
fuck
shame.
that bitch.
Yeah, that's a shame.
He got away with it.
But in some ways,
Yeah.
I do like dudes that do shit like this. I would rather they suffer a longer time
Yeah.
than just like killing them with lethal injection. That seems too easy to me.
I would do something like the wise Native Americans would do. Fucking slit that bitch open and then tie him to a belly up. Just slit him open and tie him to a red ant mound.
Yeah.
And let the ants eat him alive over a period of a few weeks.
Still not long enough.
And they're feeding him.
Not long enough.
The Indians go out and feed your ass to keep you alive while the Indians were eating you up. Fucking. No, our Native American fucking cousins, because at this point, if you've been here for a long time, you're probably related to them in a certain way.
Well, my great-grandpa was a Blackfeet.
Fucking our Native American cousins fucking knew something about justice. Even though some of them did very unjust things, but they knew about. Okay, I'm not gonna say they knew anything about it. The Native Americans understood vengeance. They understood that very well. Yeah.
Like I said,
I would
I'm
have tied that
not a
bitch
big
up
revenge
and let
person.
the ants eat him.
But, well, here's the thing. Like I said, you have to think, and I think I've talked about this before, like on some serial killer cases. People like this, like Issei Sagawa, they don't learn. It's not like you're going to do something to them that's going to make them have a revelation.
No.
That's like, oh my God, what I did was so horrible. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen. They don't have that in them, I don't think. So it's like, so I kind of feel like anything we do to them is for us, not them.
Yeah.
It's not them.
No, it's for us.
They're not going to learn.
It's for our satisfaction.
They don't
Imagine you write a fucked up computer program and let that bitch run. You know what I mean? You can't do anything. That was the way the computer program was written. But you can erase that computer program and you can do all kinds of fucked up shit to it. That's all it is.
True.
That's all it is.
I kind of feel like, and I understand because I feel like this too. You kind of feel like that person maybe somewhere in there has some tiny kernel of humanity in there someplace, and that somewhere they might feel a tiny sliver of remorse, and they might learn something. Yeah. But the older I get, I don't think they do though. So it's just like I don't think they care. So doing shit to them. Like, look, I'd be first in line to, like, torture a motherfucker like this. Seriously. But I don't think it would accomplish anything. They don't learn anything. It doesn't make them repent. It doesn't make them feel remorse or feel anything about their victim or anything. Like, they don't care.
Just because
So, honestly, I kind of probably, these kind of people, I don't know, maybe you should just take them out.
Yeah.
You just take 'em
Just
out.
because you suck and you were dealt a fucking bad hand in life, that doesn't mean you can fucking go out and fucking murder and eat a person
here's the thing.
who was dealt a good hand. What kind of shit is that?
The thing about this guy that makes me mad.
Jealousy does not authorize you for vengeance.
Nothing does.
Nothing does. Yeah.
I think the thing about
if
this,
somebody does something wrong to you, that's a different thing.
I get that. But
Yeah.
like this guy, the thing about it, yeah, he had struggles. Like, okay, like he had a lot of health issues. He had some challenges. Like, right?
Yeah.
But he had some privileges too. Like he grew up in a very wealthy family. He had all kinds of privileges that I was not afforded, that most people are not afforded. Instead of appreciating that and just rolling with what he had, playing with the hand he was dealt, he decided to go this other direction. That was a choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yes, we all have weird fetishes. Yes, he had this paraphilia. You don't have to act on it. A lot of people have that, and they don't act on it. So it's just kind of like the fact that you chose to do that. You're a grown-ass adult. You chose to do that.
Yeah. And he chose white girls.
Yeah.
He chose white girls because he thought white girls were the ultimate.
Like I said, I'll give a lot.
And he's going to destroy that. Then that only evil thinks that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only evil thinks that way.
Yeah.
So you got to die. You got to die. I don't fucking look up to things or in people and go, because I admire that person and like what they offer the world. Just because it doesn't mean I want to go and kill them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people like, oh yeah, they're cool. Like David Bowie. He did a fucking bunch of great shit. That doesn't mean I want to kill David Bowie.
Well, that's
and then like dudes out of in history. You know what I mean? Just because they did cool shit. That doesn't mean I want to kill them. No, let them do their shit. I'm going to do my shit. You know what I mean? Fucking, what are you talking about? Because what you're talking about here in this case is jealousy.
Yeah.
Jealousy and desire.
Which, like I said,
he wanted the desirability and the beauty of these women. But he didn't have that. So he killed them. To try to put it into himself. That's what he claimed.
Instead of just cultivating what he had himself.
No. Yeah, but that's stealing.
Like what he could offer.
That's stealing.
Well, it's easier, I guess.
It's stealing and it's murder, so you gotta die. That's just how it is.
Somebody just should have smothered this motherfucker.
Right. You killed a person he killed a girl that had a lot of promise and could have made a great wife to somebody else and a mom and he prevented all that for his little selfish desires about his little self. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, like I said, he was friends with her. He didn't think about her at all.
Wasn't even.
All it was like a goal to him. I want to eat somebody, and she's my friend, and she comes over to my house, and he liked her.
She wasn't even a stranger.
He was actually in love with her.
So that means.
But she was kind of like, I don't really think about you that way, which fair enough.
So he can feel sorry for himself all he wants. I know he's low. I'd have killed that bitch.
Nah.
I'd have fucking choked that bitch out and fucking snuffed him out like nothing so she could live. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
and I'd have felt good about it.
I mean, she probably had... Well, I mean, not probably. Yeah. She definitely had a lot more to offer the world than this motherfucker did.
Just because you suck doesn't mean that you can kill somebody. You know, that's
just suck by yourself.
Just suck and get the fuck out.
Just suck and deal with your suckage.
Try to do the best you can.
Don't involve other people in your suckage.
Just fuck, yeah.
You know, that's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. This just made me mad.
Right.
This whole case just made me so mad.
Okay, so we're done with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had a comment in a long time. We still got the same amount of people, actually, so they've been hanging with us.
All right, cool.
If you guys have any questions, you want to fucking drop a super chat or anything, you can go ahead and do that now. And if not, then me and Jen will be checking out here shortly. Tomorrow we will stream again.
Yeah, I know it's weird because it's like I'm kind of freaking out about it too because I'm all like out of sorts because the internet was out for 2 days and it's like normally we do the show last night and now it's tonight. It's like ugh. So I'm all like fucking I don't know what's going on. But like I said, I wanted to do the show. I didn't want to push it off till next week.
Right.
So we got our internet back. What time was it last night? 9:30, 10?
When it came back?
Yeah, when it came back.
No, it came back. I thought it came back this morning, didn't it?
No. It was last night.
Last
Because
night?
remember,
It
we
was?
were watching A Haunting. This is
Oh,
what
yeah. It was.
We
It
put
was.
on... Well, we had to put on, like, you know, DVDs or Blu-rays
Yeah.
because, you know, we don't have streaming.
Right.
So it's like we just put on Haunting episodes because whatever. There's like 5 of those and we just like play all. Yeah, whatever. And we just put that on and then we were like playing on our phones or whatever. Like while we were hanging out, waiting for the internet to come back on. And Tom was like, man, this is fucked up because I didn't realize like how dependent we had become
On the internet.
on the internet. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
I need to have it because like I said, I work remotely. So it's just kind of like if I don't have the internet, I can't work and I can't make money. And it's really frustrating. So I was getting stressed out. For entertainment, it's like, look, we have a bajillion Blu-rays and stuff. I could just watch those, you know? That's fine. I don't really care about that. But like I said, I was stressed out about work, so it was that. But we were just kind of like, we just want something on in the background. So we just put A Haunting on. And then I think it was like 9:45. And I think you checked your tablet and you said, oh, the internet's back on. And I was like, woohoo.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you put some true crime on? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I put some true crime on. And there was a couple episodes of that we watched, but I don't know.
All right, go ahead and shut it down. We're going to get it out.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Time for it to go to sleep. It's 11 o'clock.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Man, it's still Friday tomorrow. So.
Yeah, we got to do a show tomorrow anyway.
So we will be
Yeah.
back tomorrow night for the Sidetrack show. It'll be a little bit shorter because we're going to Abyss tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Which starts at like 10:15, 10:30. So you know what I mean. We'll do a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then we'll do that. But yeah. So thank you everybody for dropping by. And it was a weird night to do it. But I just wanted to get a show up for you guys. And I had a good time doing this one. I hope you guys had a good time too. So have a good day tomorrow. Have a good night the rest of your night. And we will see you guys again tomorrow night for the Sidetracks show. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. Good night.